This is just about the last call for the Spyro color incentive. So get those in as soon as you can. We'll be closing that any minute now. But until then, take it away, Insert Logic.
Thank you, May. Thank you. My name is InsertLogicT, as introduced. I'll be running Spyro 117% today. A really fun category, honestly. I'm really excited to show off. And with me today, I actually have a good friend and a fellow runner, Surf.
Hi there. My name is Surf, or Surf_OP. I also run 117% alongside Logic. I'm really excited to be here. Honestly, it's one of my favorite categories in the game.
I think we can close off the incentive for the color change, and I can punch that in now.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
There are about 6 or 7 different colors for Spyro, but we have 3 up for grabs today.
Yeah.
That is closed, and so I can no longer see it because it was closed behind the scenes by Thar.
Oh, he snagged it.
Yeah, I decided to cancel it.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I didn't realize you wouldn't be able to see it. Let's see. It looks like it was black winning at around $62.
Okay, nice. Black. All right. So if you give me a second, I'll just punch in the code. Fun thing is, Reignited actually has codes that let us mess with the game. So we have black right there, and I'll also spice it up just a little bit. There's one other thing I want to add. The color change, I don't think is enough, so we're gonna punch in one more code. There we go. As far as I can fly now.
I gotta say,
I always thought he glided.
Spyro. I really wanted Pink Spyro, but this is a good second best.
Oh, if I could get Chunky Spyro, I would. Okay, so without further ado, ready on the countdown?
Go for it.
Okay, on go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, have fun.
Thank you.
In standard RTA fashion, the first challenge of the run is how fast we can spam the triangle button without soft locking.
I time it to perfection.
Absolutely. Yep, so we got 3 skippable cutscenes to begin. And then our first goal is to get to Cloud Spires. We'll spawn in here in the hub world, and we're not going to start by collecting everything. Instead, we're going to try and take the most direct line, clearing the right-hand side. And we have the first annoying jump just here on this rock.
Ooh.
Lovely stuff. Deceptively tricky. Have to be lined up perfectly. Hunter saying hi to chat. And straight into Cloud Spires.
Okay, so the reason why we do that rock jump as well is because we want to obviously stick to the right side and skip a trigger that we'll be hitting later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll see Bianca for the first time outside of Sunny Villa. Typically, we don't want to view that cutscene where we can, but we have no choice in the full game completion. Clearing out this lower area, straight up the first bellow, and we're going to make a tricky end-of-level jump to the Sunseed's minigame. Here we have to flame the Sunseed so that he doesn't despawn in the short amount of time, making its way to the pot, whilst trying to pick up all the gems en route. They also have sunglasses, which is a fitting theme for this run. Right, this is also quite a tricky start to the run. This next jump requires a little bit of focus.
Okay.
Very nice. The risk there is you then have to go back to the start, and that's a good 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And finally, notice how we've gone to different areas of this minigame each time, trying not to cross over lines where we don't need to. And we have a sun. That's the first egg of the run, Lulu. Followed immediately by the second. As you can see, we will not be letting cutscenes play out where possible. Precious seconds.
That egg was the end level egg. We abbreviate it to EOL. Once we get the EOL egg, it opens up a majority of the level. So getting that egg opened up a bunch of whirlwinds around the level, which lets us shortcut it later when we revisit it.
Yeah, we will be abusing end of level strategies where possible. Not every level has one, but they are a big time save when routing. Managed to catch this egg thief before he can get away. And now is the slightly slow task of clearing out all the gems within this minigame. At the start of the game, Sparks doesn't pick up gems very far away from Spyro, so we move very close, and then we have to charge and break the baskets and vases that have gems in them. This will get a little better towards the end of the run though. Larger enemies like that have to be flamed, so we try and time our jumping movement to pick up the gem as it lands. And again, you're going to see an instance of us not collecting everything on this first visit. That's the first split done. But we will be back.
It's nicer to split everything up because of the tools we get later down the line. Helps us clear everything a lot faster. And Cloud is a very spread out area. There's a lot of tricks as well. So we kind of just split it into, as a majority of splits are split up into as well, just to make it easier for us.
Yeah. We also skipped Moneybags in that level. But unfortunately we can't skip him too much. We will be speaking to the bear inevitably. This is quite a tough trick. Second try is really good. Up to Amy. And we're going to clear this cave out in reverse so that we can avoid making 2 trips up and down. Otherwise we would need to use the flying power up to return as well. A quick game continue takes us back to the spawn area of the hub world, where we can clear the left hand side on our way to Sunny Villa. Isabel now joins the party. Funnily enough, you can't actually play as any of the dragons you collect.
Heartbreaker. Would be cool if you could just switch between all the 150 of them.
That's a lot of lines of code. Yep, and we have to pay 300 gems to free Sheila and go into the first side character level.
So with Moneybags, he actually has all of our other playable characters trapped behind a paywall, and we have to unlock them to play as evil corporate man's stealing all our friends away. And we have to...
Commentary.
I know. Real world commentary right there. So we have to buy them out, and we aren't able to play as the playable characters unless we finish their main level. And this is the main level for Sheila. Once we finish this level and get the end level egg, we'll be able to play as her later in the game.
Thank you very much for the raid, Turtleo. And now, with Sheila, the main aspect is your jump and kick. We will be trying to, where possible, abuse the fact that if you kick when you do a big jump, you go forward quite far as well. It's the most forward momentum you can get. But with everything so close to the ground here, it doesn't make sense to use it non-stop. These goats are very linear pathing, so we just grab all the gems as we get around, get them into position as soon as possible. This is a very good introductory level for the Sheila mechanics, and you will be seeing a lot more of Sheila as we progress the run. She has the most side character levels, we believe.
I think so, yeah.
We should probably count that before saying. These Ranox will continue to spawn if you don't destroy their houses, so unfortunately, no more mushrooms.
If only I got that kind of luck in my actual runs. Jeez, that was such a good cleanup right there.
Don't curse it.
Marathon luck.
There's a dead 1 gem here. You'll see Sheila actually walks over that second one because we can't pick it up by standing in proximity. Sparks will not recognize it. And there are unfortunately quite a few dead gems in this run. We are going for all 15,000 outside of the final level. And naturally we don't want to leave a level without having 100%ed in most cases.
There we go. Yeah, dead gems can be extremely frustrating because there are some common dead gems where you have to physically be standing on the gem, and they're in pretty ludicrous spots, like tucked in corners next to some weird environments, so you really have to press up against it and go out of your way for it.
Yeah. The worst feeling is having jumped off a platform and you know there's still a gem left behind.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of gem. Oh wait, no, I got that. Whoops. I could have
You're
sworn
just
I
testing
missed
yourself.
that. I know. I could have sworn I missed that one, honestly.
We go into a state of paranoia in this category.
Constant paranoia.
Mm-hmm. Some nice movement here to try and get between the gems as quick as possible.
I think I'm just gonna grab my way to this guy.
That's nice.
We would normally leave that guy for a little later in the level, but I was pretty sloppy on the first half of it, so I had to grab my way to clean him up.
Cycles play a big part in the routing of this game. If our goal is to not revisit parts, then that does mean trying to optimize where we meet enemies in their cycles. This is particularly apparent in the flight levels, which we'll get onto later. Now up the bell tower, but we won't be gliding over there just yet. Off to Sheila. There's a nice little skip coming up.
Ooh, nice.
Pretty
There
good.
we go.
Just saves us having to walk around the giant wall, and we can even go back. Naturally, the fastest movement downwards you can get is with a ground pound. And you'll be seeing a lot of this kick jumping previously mentioned, where there's a square input the moment Logic presses X as well. Just to go as far forwards as we can. So far so good. This is definitely one of my favourite Sheila segments in the game because of how much vertical movement we have.
Oh yeah. Oh. I was gonna say it's my favorite bit. It's the worst now. It's the worst after that.
This is what happens. We take it in turns to decide which parts we like the most, and then all it takes is one bad experience to taint it.
Oh no. Oh, I'm throwing right now. Jeez.
No, you're not.
There we go.
You're not allowed to say you're throwing unless you're on whir pace.
Oh, it's true.
That jump there is quite difficult, but the main intention of it is to start your double jump as early as possible, as soon as you're in range. Save you jumping up a couple more steps. Lucy Egg has been acquired, and this next jump is quite something.
Oh, so confident in that one. I'll be honest
Let's
with you.
go.
So confident. The moment I jumped, I was like, "Oh, that's it." No sweat.
The amount of distance you get is almost unparalleled, I think, with the amount of tricks
Oh
and
yeah.
glides we have to do.
I think so. I think it's the furthest gap that we jump in the game, maybe?
I should mention that it's not like a tech we do or anything. That is just a flat-out glide jump. So we charge at first to gain as much forward momentum as possible, and we glide at the peak of our jump and hover at the precise point that will let us land on that pillar. And that's how we skip doing the bell tower twice. Avoid talking to that little lion.
Yeah. The hitboxes to talk with the NPCs are pretty large. Kind of get caught up by some of them if your lines are a little sloppy.
Yeah. Step movement is a large part of Spyro games. Not everything is a slope. Our first skateboarding segment.
Everyone's favourite.
Yes, I thought it might be squid boarding, but it appears we're going for the vanilla route today. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Squidboard's a little too much. Already got a black dragon with sunglasses running around. I think.
Yeah, it was really breaking my immersion.
Yeah, it's taken a little bit too far away from reality. I wasn't happy with it. So.
So the way we cleared this lizard minigame is pretty consistent each time, because we want to grab all the gems as well, without hopefully falling off, but it can happen. The risk of falling off is much greater in the second half of this, where Hunter challenges you to not fall off at all. Therefore, we do try not to take unnecessary risks. And we're going to finish this first segment up here, grabbing a few of the gems, but leaving a few as well, because we can't avoid going back up there. Now, for the difficult challenge.
Okay.
The route in which we clear them is pretty consistent.
Yeah, that
both
jump
times.
though is pretty scary, because if you land on a slope on the board, more likely you're going to get knocked off, which will send you all the way back, which is pretty bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, the game cannot always save you from tricky jumps. They will assume that you've fallen off, even if you feel that you were lined up just fine. So again, we do take pretty similar paths where possible. These two lizards, upon seeing Spryo in that mouth, will run the other way, straight into the fire. And all being well, these will be the last few gems of the level.
Nice.
So after this, we're going to guidebook.
Thanks for the reminder though. I kind of forgot.
Yeah, there's a lot of warping in this run. Again, our goal is to take the shortest lines possible between locations, and guidebooks can save a lot of time. We will leave the portal from Cloud Spires now, which is about 6 or 7 seconds closer to Molten.
We're soon picking up Hunter's egg here. He does a little section where he jumps from platform to platform, and I think if you leave through, or if you exit through Sunny, you have to talk to him again like we did at the beginning of the run. But because we left Cloud, we can only have to talk to him once.
Yeah. It's very polite of him to wait there. He's been there since the first split.
Yeah.
Swimming sections are sometimes hit or miss for people. Spyro does drift quite a bit. It's very useful to know where you're going next, so you don't just end up bashing into walls. And for that reason, not everyone is a fan of this next level, but I personally think Snappy is fantastic.
Snappy's fantastic. The level, I don't think so.
He's not caught. The level's not caught. Right, okay. It's not called Snappy's fantastic, but Snappy is fantastic.
Yes, we should go to the Toy Spot building. Let them know the patch.
Very good. You tell me where it is. I'll make it. So there are some conflicting strategies around Seashell Shore. Some people I know try to clear the level doing as little as possible on a first-time playthrough. And that way, when we return at the end with fully upgraded sparks, it becomes much easier because you don't have to manually break all of the objects. Sparks will be doing that for us. Spoiler alert.
Ooh. Oh, we get a sparks upgrade soon, so not that bad.
A range increase is definitely nice to have. The alternative is what we'll be doing. We're literally going to do everything we can in this level, with the exception of some gems at the start, and you'll see why a bit later. Enemies not giving us too much trouble. Funnily enough, these two enemies here, if you charge them both at the same time and their shells break, you lose one of the gems. You have to reload the level.
Oh yeah. There's the shells themselves sometimes can have an enemy in them, and sometimes they won't. If you charge both of them at the same time. The shell that doesn't have an enemy in it, that would give you a 2, doesn't drop anything and breaks, and yeah, you'd have to reset your game.
Yeah, it's very weird. We just learn to accept these things and avoid them where we can.
Yeah.
Sheila returns for a bit of sandcastle building or destruction.
It's only through commentary when I realize how often we play Sheila in the early game. I'm not gonna lie. It's 3 times now. My oh my.
This is actually Sheila free.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Can't wait for Sheila 4.
Yeah, let's hope. Making sure not to get hit by his shovel. And now Snappy returns in all their glory. We get 5 gems for destroying everything around here.
Gotta be careful on this one. The 5 gems, because they fall from above the enemies, gems have their own hitboxes, and they can actually collide with other objects in the world. And sometimes you can have gems that react awkwardly to either other gems or to enemies around you. So in that instance, a 5 gem just kind of hovers on top of an enemy, meaning we have to kill him for the gem to drop to the ground.
Being aware of when you're meant to get gems often teaches you what gems are the most likely to give you problems.
A lot of the strats in this game, with just through a collectible speedrun, is having the audio sense and the visual sense to just see your gem count and hear when you pick up gems, because you get so used to picking gems up that when you hear a missing sound effect, that raises a red flag for you. Mm-hmm. It's good to work on that for collectible speedruns.
Yeah, if you're able to complete a 117 with no audio, I commend you.
That'd be a serious challenge, no lie.
So this large space, we're going to try and clear out as many gems as we can. We still have 1 mini game left though, before we're finished here. And now because the last mini game is up at the top, it makes sense to trigger the end of level egg before attending that game.
Yep. Ooh, came up at the wrong point there.
Not to worry, the red gems aren't going anywhere.
Hopefully. We've seen a couple of times where the gems just kind of get up and leave, so hope it doesn't happen today.
It is not unheard of. Bluto is a bit of an RNG boss. He can occasionally go underwater, or he can fire rockets at you. And it's only when you trigger Bluto for the first time that they decide which one it's going to be.
This is, I think, the worst, because he gives you good RNG and then switches to bad instead of continuing his good RNG.
Mm-hmm. I believe 17 torpedoes is enough. There we go. And the last thing we're going to do before exiting the level is grabbing all the gems hidden around. These bottles are not too bad, but sometimes lining up to charge into them underwater can give you some issues. It means late game underwater segments become much easier with Sparks willing to do the work himself.
Yeah. Underwater movement is very hit or miss for most people. Some people draw comparisons between OG Spyro 3 and Reignited, where the movement for Spyro is a lot more fluid in OG, whereas Spyro and Reignited kind of moves like a truck. It's like very slow turning, but pretty fast. So there's times you have to kind of like backtrack on yourself if you
Ouch!
Throwing him under the bus, but it's a shame it's true.
Throwing him under the truck, more like.
You're right.
Yeah, this is definitely quite a divisive series. Not a lot of OG players enjoy the way Spyro feels, and that is understandable. But ultimately, despite being a remaster, it's also a different game in many ways. And I like it when people explain why they enjoy both. You can draw comparisons, but then they're unique as well.
Yeah, they have their own unique mechanics, and just the feel of the game can attract runners. Sometimes it can sit them away.
Here we're in the first flight level, even though there's not a whole lot of flying going on. The reason for this is that supercharging in this game has some interesting mechanics, namely the build-up system goes between 3 phases. You get your red smoke at the start, purple smoke, and then white smoke. And the idea of going as fast as possible is to maintain white smoke across a large distance. Very nice.
I was a little worried on that one. Second last butterfly got a little far from me. Oh,
there's still Hunter to do in the time trial.
yeah. Let's
We'll get back to him.
yeah, we'll see him again in a bit. It's fine. As long as I'm fairly good with my inputs, it shouldn't be time loss.
It's not a problem. In the races, we can't do a whole lot about changing the route because we have no choice but to go through these green rings. The risk of not doing so is a restart, and trust me, on lap 3, when you miss a ring, it is not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Not that it's ever happened to me.
It's how you become a Reignited runner. Is you miss a ring in a speedway on the 3rd lap.
Kind of agree more. This is part of why I like the races, though. There's a lot of tension in the air. But yes, in order to take them as fast as possible, the simplest way is to get as many blue stars as we can. You also notice some charging to both close the gap between stars and also to just go a little bit faster when aiming downwards, because gliding downwards is not faster than a short charge. And the lines we're taking are as tight as possible, leaving a little bit of wiggle room so that we don't miss any rings. As far as race courses go, this is definitely your standard figure of 8 introductory style level.
Yeah, we do our best to optimize it with a lot of charges, but it's pretty linear, obviously, with what you have to do.
And now for some plain fun. Oh, I thought you might be going for the IL world record just now.
I was thinking about it halfway through, but...
You got a speedrun to do. Oh, okay, Hunter doesn't want to talk to us. Some of you might have noticed the Xbox overlay. For whatever reason, PlayStation and Xbox gamepads are sometimes considered the same, and the display buttons are crossed over.
Ooh, whoops. Yeah, I'm using a DualShock 4 PS4 controller right now, but sometimes it just confuses the button mapping. So the only like notable difference is just like Y being on the screen instead of triangle. I think all the others are the same.
Less experienced runners will be completely thrown off by that and will throw away their controller.
They'll just get a fresh controller thinking it's their fault, but alas, the game is just very, very well programmed. We'll leave it there.
Absolutely. I'm going to grab the Liam egg with a head bash, clean up a few more gems, and this will be the last level before we take on the Hub 1 boss. As far as splits go, this is pretty short.
This is, I believe, the first level in the run that features a character we do not have unlocked yet, being Sergeant Bird.
Yep, that's correct.
So this is, we have to split this up into 2 segments because it's just impossible for us to do it in one go.
Molten is definitely the least favorite level of people who like to 100% every level before leaving. In general, these enemies can be quite annoying, especially the whip enemies. But by buffering our charges, we don't get hit.
That was a little bit shaky, but we're good.
No worries. We're going to clear this whole lower area and grab a key. Nice little jump there to skip the stairs. And we're going to circle around the other way. Taking out a few more enemies before opening up a chest.
Oh, never seen this man run away like that. Where is he? There he is.
The AI likes to do its own thing. As do we.
There we go.
Cool. So we're going to exit the level here, but we're not going to talk to Rocky outside of the portal.
It's actually a big hitbox on the floor. When we leave the level, it auto talks to us, but we're actually going to hold a direction, mash X to glide over it. That way we can continue our collecting path and then go to the hot air balloon.
And now, what's coming up next is a potential 2 to 3 minute segment, which we'd quite like to avoid.
Oh yeah. Okay. The estimate of the run is going to be decided in just a moment, so I hope I don't get screwed out here.
The term I like to use for cutscenes playing is plot percent. I know some people like lore percent as well.
Alright, we got it. Whew.
Very nice.
Sweat.
That was a really tough input.
Oh god, the single triangle press. Whoo! Man.
This fight is a lot of fun as someone who has to do it a lot and gets to witness a fun strategy. Typically, when dealing with Buzz, we want to get near the edge afterwards so that his turn is interrupted. And it's a little faster getting him into position for the next phase. But there is an alternative.
The first one. There we go.
Very nice. So by buffering a head bash in the air, Spryo acquires some invincibility. So trust me, he didn't take a hit before this. We also like to damage abuse to speed up Buzz's cycles in phase 2. Otherwise he holds up his flame shield and we have to sit it out.
Oh my. Oh,
That was alright.
I forgot my cycles there. Whoops, my bad.
This might be a short jump. Yo, it worked out. Good job. Phase 3 is a little different. We can target Buzz quite quickly. However, there is the risk of phantom damage with that flame attack of his going out even after we knock him before he can cast it. That was a really clean fight.
It wasn't bad, yeah. I played it a little safe just because I didn't want to get robbed of a hit, because the way you deal with the head bash strat is dependent on Buzz's position and how far you knock him back. There are a lot of invisible walls for the terrain in the area, and if he rubs up against an invisible wall at all, it makes the strat a little worrisome because you have to be really tight on your positioning. There's nothing much you can really do, it's just where Buzz is. So if Buzz is a little too close, it's just impossible to do. But having him far back increases the odds.
So I suppose Spyro's positioning, as long as you're in line with him, doesn't matter too much.
I think so. I have a lineup for it just for consistency's sake, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad.
Okay, so we're going to be guidebooking the moment we enter Midday Gardens because we're going to try and do as much of Sunrise as possible on this first visit, whilst also acquiring a nice little Sparks upgrade. These are the gems we left in Seashell. As they were all close together at the start, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to ignore them because we have to guidebook here to arrive near Zoe, who will trigger the next level.
Zoe appears in the hub in certain spots when you beat the hub boss. And because we just beat Buzz, we can return and go grab our Sparks upgrades. Over here.
It's another dead gem on the ground, if anyone was wondering.
It fools you as well, because you think you'll grab it and then you start talking to Zoe without it being grabbed.
Right, so Sparks levels. We've been playing on 30 FPS before now, reason being on the PC version, Spyro jumps a little bit higher on 30 FPS. Now in Sparks levels, there's an interesting relationship between one of the power-ups and your FPS.
Oh my.
Don't worry about that. This next power-up is a multi-hit, curving from side to side, and this fire rate can only be achieved on a higher FPS. Now, it may not look like too much right now, but when we take on the big boss later, it's going to speed it up by at least a few seconds.
Yep. I believe 50 and 60 have the same result with Sparks' upgrade, so we don't waste the input going to 60 and we go to 30. Because we have to go back to 30 anyway to continue the run. So as little inputs as possible is what we want, obviously.
Yeah. In fact, I was talking to a fellow runner yesterday, Dr. House, who mentioned that 50 and 60 do not inherently do the same things. I think on 50 FPS gems drop faster, but at 60 they don't.
Oh, that is interesting, actually. I know the new meta for Spyro 3 is 48 FPS, which is a really interesting meta.
We are getting to the point now where your hardware determines your position on the leaderboard.
Can't wait.
Yeah, standard monitors do not have a 48 FPS option, I believe.
Yes, most monitors offer 30, 50, 60 and uncapped, whereas certain monitors offer increments in between. I think when I was watching Cam look through his, he had like 36, 42, 48, 50, like some ludicrous numbers.
Yeah, so PC players definitely have a little more to think about. I don't believe on console you get the option to edit your FPS.
I don't think so, no.
So we're going through all the phases of this fight as fast as possible, nabbing that last gem just in time. And you might be wondering, other than the 2 baskets where we might be exiting level, we have no choice if we want the power-up but to talk to Zoe again.
Mm-hmm. If you guidebook out of a Sparks level, it'll register that you have completed the level but just not talk to Zoe. And you'll have to redo the level again to speak to Zoe to grab the power-up, so we make sure to leave.
Playing it safe. Some runs have been lost to not getting the Sparks upgrade. So in some categories we are able to do some Bianca skips permanently, but because of the placement of gems, we do have to enter Bianca's trigger. So we may as well talk to her at the very start whilst grabbing a vase on the way. Grabbing some fodder just to make the next level a bit easier. Sparks helping out. Now we're off to Icy Peak after we grab some more gems and Mingus.
Yeah, goes back to 30, there we go.
This will be useful for some of the difficult jumps. You know, I don't think there's a whole lot in Icy Peak now that I think about it, but
I think
just saves us changing.
In terms of jumps, I think the bandit jump might be harder at 50. You can do all the tricks on 30, FPS at 50, but for the sake of consistency and just not making it harder on ourselves, we take the timeless and switch.
Nice. Alright, sniping birds is a bit of a bane of the 117 run. This is only one of 2 levels though.
Yeah, it's a little annoying because all the birds run on cycles, and if you take time hitting a certain section of birds, the next section is going to be more difficult for you. So you got to make sure that you're a sniper on that cannon to hit the best cycles.
Yeah, there's no shame in lining things up first. That is the lesson I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, if you're just a bit of an aimbot, that's good too.
If you got your Game Shark plugged in, happy days.
Sponsor?
Sponsor.
No, okay. Moving on. That's a nice little dead gem once again.
There's a lot of dead gems in 117. Oh, wait, no, Icy Peak, sorry. There's a lot, which is heartbreaking.
This is all to do with the TNT being blown up. Not quite sure what the properties are of the TNT that caused the gems to be so-called dead gems, but the main thing to do is be knowledgeable about them.
Uh-oh. Ooh, okay.
Nice movement.
Another dead gem in that smashable container pressed up against the wall. I had to go my way to grab it. Put me at risk to get shot there, but it was good in the end.
Spyro, he's very fast. He can outrun a speeding snowball.
Oh, that's more speed than I'm used to there. Ooh.
He's feeling himself now.
I know. Oh, the jump.
Alright, there will be another Moneybags payment very shortly. Nice snipe on the top guy.
I got my game shot plugged in, my bad.
Hey. Yes, it should be noted that we don't use any cheat codes when we run. It just might look like it from time to time.
Yeah. Don't like try and verify the runs on the leaderboard. I promise you, they're not all cheated.
Mods work hard enough. Shout out to the mod team.
Yeah, big ups to mod team. They do a good job.
They have to watch a lot of 117s.
I know, they have to watch a lot of content.
Right, this is a bit resident sleeper, I'm afraid. Also, if anyone gets motion sick, I would advise waiting for the lovely music to stop.
Yeah, if we have any donations, I think now's a pretty good time to read them out.
Sure. Let me give it a refresh. We do have some incentives coming up. We have the Pokemon Sword naming incentives for the Get Urshifu Power 2 Fist run directly after this. Currently, Sobble is going to be named Dompe if things play out the way they are. It's winning with 75 to Deluxe 15 and CF Ayaya's 10. And Cubfu will be named Dimmadome at $15. So if you want to change either of those, get those donations in as soon as possible. We have some other donations coming up for runs later in the day as well. We have Wyatt singing Go the Distance for Kingdom Hearts Final Mix All World Standards, as well as the Dream Weapon Bid War. And then for Swift Shadows Kingdom Hearts 3, any % beginner run, we have the voice language and Swift singing Let It Go. So definitely donate to get those song incentives. We also have a $10 donation from Turtello, who says, Insert 9 love.
Hey, thank you, Turtello.
You're so creative with those names. Good work.
Those are really good incentive names. I love those.
Okay, coming up here is sort of a Chase the Thieves style game. Except we're not going to be doing any chasing of the thieves. First of all, we have to go up a massive vortex. That was a nice little wall glide. I'm afraid that's PC exclusive. There are some interesting properties with wall gliding, and it seems that on console, wall glides do not give you height, whereas on PC they do. Alright, so we sniped the man who's sitting on that tower, and now we're going to take a little leap towards the last gems of this section. Maintaining supercharge because there's a metal chest behind that ice wall. And now we cut off this man to grab Betty. Bonk percent.
Oh, no bonks here.
Actually, yeah, that was fair enough. There's a lot of ways to climb stairs, and bonking tends to be one of them. But this is a TAS only run.
Of course. Even though I missed the cycle. Oh, I'm so confident. Yeah.
No.
I was so confident that here I jumped off the cannon early. Oh, I love that.
Alright, that's known as a fadeaway in the business. Very good. And so we've come back to this central area with the Maynard egg, but instead we just clean up what we left behind. Reese joins the fray, and now on to the next.
Okay, well, most people take time between leaving levels just to see the gem counter in the bottom. Normally, if an egg is the last thing you pick up, you get the egg completion and the gem completion. Obviously, the gem completion update is the most important one, so most runners like myself just take a couple seconds in the pause menu just to verify we picked up everything.
Yeah, there's no point assuming things in such a long run, otherwise you end up wasting time coming back to levels later. That's a nice lineup to grab Trixie. Shoutouts to Nost. And again, we have to pay the bear. It's a sad day. Pay your taxes, kids.
Oh, I don't want to pay tax. I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay the big bear.
That's how I feel, but I don't tend to say it like that.
Don't tend to say it out loud, might get in trouble.
It's like not doing your homework.
Oh yeah.
Now, Sergeant Bird is an interesting character. He floats around almost as much as Spyro underwater. So it helps to put your inputs in with the knowledge of where you're going afterwards. Now, this is a cool way to use time. We're waiting for one of the hummingbirds to run towards us, so we're going to try and take out all the enemies here.
Ooh, love it.
If you hit all the rest, that's really good. That was clean. And now she's going to wait for us to open up this door. We're going to leave quite a few of the gems behind because we're going to do something a little bit later with a bomb in order to get around the level just a little bit quicker. Blast door achieved. Sniping everything out of the sky.
Oh, yes, the hero.
Wow.
Wow, alright.
I don't know what to say about what I just said.
He put his body on the line for the marathon, I appreciate that.
F in the chat, perhaps.
F in the chat for the ladybug.
Alright, so this is an interesting use of time. We're going to snipe the last enemy that the hummingbird requires, and just before we get through, we pop one of the bottles out of the sky. The routing for this whole open area is very interesting.
Huh?
That 5 gem is either already acquired or gone. Let's hope already acquired.
I hope acquired, that was a little weird for me.
Well, we can always check at the end. And for the sake of speed, again, we want to use the bomb later, but it's going to be fast on the ground. So we take as much out of the air on the high platforms first. Interestingly enough, Sparks doesn't tend to pick up many gems if you're not standing on the platform with the gems you're trying to pick up. If you're standing in line with them and in range, sometimes it will work out just fine. But as a rule of thumb, you should never assume Sparks is paying attention.
Yeah, he's asleep for a lot of the run up until near enough the end of it, where he actually wakes up and helps us out.
He sips on his energy drinks. He goes crazy.
I had really good cycles, so I can just kind of hold
this is
forward through
beautiful.
there. There we go. All the cycles are worldwide, so if you're a little slow at the beginning of the level, you will lose out the chance to go on a fast cycle. So continuous speed and consistency comes into serious play in a lot of levels.
That's it. A lot of the routing is done assuming that you're able to do all of it in sequence. So this is a very taxing run. Requires a lot of focus. Okay, only a couple more gems to grab. We're going to use one of the bombs we have to bust open this metal chest. Still able to slide around. And all being well, we're about to see 500 out of 500, but we did have a little scare. Unlucky on that. Not a problem.
Alright, we're good.
Lovely.
Whew, okay. Yeah, that 5 gem not being where I thought it was a little worrisome, but I'm pretty sure I picked it up without realizing.
Yeah, Sparks occasionally does things for us that we don't notice. Here we have a cutscene, but thankfully we're able to skip it. Plot percent will have to wait for another stream.
For another marathon, plot percent will come about. There's actually a problem with that cutscene where I believe if you try and skip too early, the game will register the fact that you skipped the cutscene, but won't actually skip the cutscene. And because that cutscene doesn't stop our loadless timer, if you get that glitch, it's a run dead pretty much, because it's like a 2-minute cutscene.
Yeah, we tend to use loadless timers on the boards. A lot of games do. Shoutouts to Dino Pony. At the beginning of this level, you saw Logic do a little quick game. And there's a black screen at the start of Spooky Swamp that you can only remove through 2 methods. One of them is known as a fly and skip, which is extremely precise and not recommended for the majority of runs. And the other is a quick game continue, which just loads you into the level a second or 2 sooner without the black screen. The route for Spooky Swamp I find to be really interesting. We're going to be grabbing all the gems, of course, and the eggs, but the order in which we do it revolves around getting a key before that metal chest, and also grabbing all the lanterns before one of the 2 mini-games. I suppose it's a boss fight, really.
Yeah, I would call it a boss fight.
It's not the most fighty of bosses. Interestingly enough, although the game kind of proposes the idea of jumping to one of these trees at a time, we can jump to all 3 of them. 30 FPS may be paying dividends a little bit as well.
Yeah.
The preemptive flame there is because he just has the knowledge of where the enemy is going to be. Cycles are so crucial.
And that enemy is extremely annoying if he actually charges, because once he charges, he doesn't stop. He just keeps charging until he either hits the wall or his timer runs out. And he charges for maybe a good 3 to 4 seconds. So he really goes pretty far away. Don't catch him in time.
And a small hitbox does not make that any easier.
Yeah.
So we're going to grab all the gems here and make our way once more to the end of the level. This time we're going to grab the end of level egg. Felonious. Onwards to Sleepyhead. This is not the hardest boss fight in the game, but it is one of the most punishing. What we're doing here is pretending to take damage to speed up the cycles, and lining up each bomb just enough so that we don't have to wait 15 seconds for the next one.
By jumping into his stomach, I'm basically skipping a phase where he summons 3 of the crocodile enemies, because it counts as me getting hit by it, so it progresses the cycle. But I don't lose the sparks because his stomach doesn't have a, I guess, a life-taking hitbox. I think is the way to put it. Maybe they leave it for the piranhas. I don't know.
Yeah, why not? It's interesting, actually. A level like Spooky Swamp, taking damage in water is done by the piranhas, as mentioned, and because of that we can make some creative skips across the water. As long as we're constantly charging out of the water, we won't get damaged. Doing it too slow will, unfortunately, lead to taking some sparks. Sleepyhead now sleeps forever. Thank you, chat.
That's a good one.
I can't claim credit. Clock is too funny. Now, Fireflies is a very annoying mini-game, and many categories are glad they do not have to do it. The mushrooms get knocked down with a ground pound, but only for a set amount of time. And the rocks can be destroyed quite easily too. But if one of the fireflies gets damaged by running into something, well, we have to start their section again. So it's very important to know what hazards there are. And there's an interesting thing that can happen here. We're going to avoid it.
I would have been fine, I think, though.
Perhaps, but we can't be sure.
Yeah, there's no way to tell until he's just about to hit it, so you have to... I'm like scarred from that. Normally that big mushroom is just there for a stake. No, the pathing for the fireflies will never take them there. But depending on how they react to the mushroom tops, they can actually be thrown off their pathing just a bit in the left direction. And if that happens, they'll actually collide with that big mushroom. And you can never know when it happens. There's no like visual cue for it. There are just times where you can just have them run into it and you have to do it all again.
That was clutch. Good job.
I know. Start to sweat a little bit, but we're good.
You can see how optimized the gem collection route is for this minigame. We are risking it all just to grab gems about 5 to 10 seconds earlier than we would otherwise. That's very true, actually, yes. In the OG game, it's much harder in a way, this minigame, because you have to destroy the rocks at the right times as well.
Really? Oh.
They respawn.
Oh my. Did not know that, actually, for OG.
Yep. All the knowledge bombs today. So because we've cleared out 2 of the 3 side areas, all we have to do is run up here, and I really like this as an example of Sparks' upgrade. He grabs everything without you really needing to walk at any of the gems. And trust me, he does not do that if you don't have the Crawdad Farm upgrade.
You have to... Most of the time, you have to pretty much be standing on the gems for the weakest Sparks, but thanks to the Crawdad upgrade, our lines can be pretty wide, and Sparks will come in clutch for us.
Definitely makes the category feel a lot more creative too. Just the unique ways people collect it all.
For the people who donate for the incentive, disappeared now, sorry. Back to Purple Spyro.
Yeah, so power-ups and vehicles do bring back Purple Spyro temporarily. But look away.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay. I hope no one looked away.
I hope everyone was looking.
Far too quick, otherwise. That's a very interesting way of doing things. Do you want to explain it?
Oh yeah, so when you destroy all 4 plant pots, it will take you to the middle of the area where it will give you an egg. And what we do is we fire the fireball and go grab another egg next to us, and it dragging us away cancels out the cutscene for the egg, but it still registers that we picked up the egg. So we pretty much grab 2 eggs at once, instead of having to climb a ladder a second time, or climb it in general again later on.
As our goal is to attempt to reduce our lines that cross over each other.
Okay, that was a little bit
fine. You got it. You got
dodgy one.
Nice little wall glide coming up.
Oops.
Very tricky. Alright, so the emergency escape bridge, in case of emergency, has finally been put out. I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place. And that's a very cool way to cut off a thief. Triggering them after we've already crossed in front of them, and they have no choice but to jump into us. Okay, we've got a fireball power-up moment to look forward to. We still have 1 level to go to, and in the case of their portal, we need to blast it open with something Hunter gives us. The thing is, we don't really like Hunter in this game, so we're going to try not to talk to him unless it's essential. Hunter stands, I do apologize.
We see too much of Hunter already.
Aye. And so now the portal's open, we're going to grab the last few gems of this bit. Straight on into Enchanted Towers.
Whew. I'm not a big fan of Enchanted Towers, just because of the size of it. It's pretty large and kind of annoying with the gem collections later on.
Yep. Sergeant Bird is recommended in terms of making sure you haven't missed anything, but he is definitely slower than Spyro in maneuvering.
Cool.
This is a EOL jump that is definitely pretty core for the majority of categories. And very punishing if you miss it.
If you commit a little too much into it and miss it, you actually fall off the world and die.
Yeah.
But if you play it a little safe, you might not hit it, but you can land back on the ledge again.
For the sake of time, we're also going to pick up a couple of these lizard bones. We'll need them for something later. Not just for the aesthetic and the collection. They have a practical purpose.
A purpose that I cannot wait to show off, honestly. I'm so excited. Grab it!
The whole reason you picked this category, I believe.
The whole reason you play this game, I would argue. It's the only good thing in this game. I don't want to tease, but I'm looking forward to it. By the end of the level, we'll be able to show it off.
I would hope this level brings back some nostalgia for people. This is doesn't look exactly the same as OG, but this is one of my favorite parts of playing this game as a kid. We're going to be doing all of Hunter's requests as fast as possible. We don't need to launch off the front of these ramps. We just need to do the trick before we land without crashing.
Interesting how they give us the skateboard tutorial after we've already used the skateboard in Sunny Villa.
It just shows they don't expect you to do anything in Sunny Villa except go round in circles.
Oh yeah, I was not making that turn.
That's okay. The main thing is to grab that gem because it's a little awkward to go out of our way and grab it later.
Same for this one, hopefully we can hit it this time.
There it is.
Okay, we got it.
Yeah. Got zapped about halfway across the map.
Got a little worried when I saw him dart to the left, but Sparks coming in clutch. That's what we love him for.
That's why we upgrade. Put points into your Sparks upgrades, kids. We'd love to see that movement. The wall there is a sort of ramp, so as long as you line up properly, you won't collide with it, and you can maintain your skateboard whilst we do all the collecting. We can score a lot of points off just that single jump, and we're going to score even more by picking up the gems up on the triple towers. And so without even trying, we've already eclipsed Hunter. So once we've grabbed everything, we're going to give up and win. That's not a sentence, but it works.
The reason why we got so many points is because we did a trick called the Nasty Nork, which is a front flip led into a diagonal front flip, which gives us 3.5k, I think it is.
2.5 for the trick itself, but then we also do a flip before, so I think it's a little bit more than that.
Oh, right.
But it's a very substantial amount, and we'll be using it a lot later in the run as well. This is the last of the points-based skateboarding sections. Shoutouts to Spyro 1, I guess.
Oh, whoa.
That's fine. So with the Farley, the AI is quite simple in the sense that it will only start moving when there is an objective for it, i.e. the ball. So to try and speed this minigame up, we throw the ball as early as possible in the direction Farley needs to go, and then we can put it into the precise position. Here we're going to throw it before the platform so that Farley starts moving, and then the platform is raised for them afterwards. White people happy indeed. And here's a cool little tech. So Farley will move onto the button afterwards, but if we throw it in a precise position, that way we can actually get the big platform to start raising just a little bit earlier. Final few gems.
Okay, I bonked a little too many times for my liking, but it was alright, still made the cycle.
Ultimately, that's not time loss, but it is a slight worry in the mind of the runner. Now we're on cleanup duty. You'll notice how the sheep is prioritized above all these giant enemies.
The dangerous beasts flying through the air. The sheep's the most dangerous thing out here, man. No doubt.
Probably is up for debate, but I'm not going to question.
I think it's an open and shut case, to be honest with you, mate.
Alright.
You see the sheep, they look at you a certain way, man. You ever stand near one? They don't like you as a player, I swear.
They want revenge for Stonehill.
I love that reference, that's sick.
So naturally, we do rely on the heat seeking quite a bit to take out these larger enemies. Some of them don't give us any trouble, but others the range is just a little too much, so we have to trail them. We grabbed a few of the bones earlier, and because we haven't died, it doesn't reset. I mean, it won't reset unless we die before we get zapped by Zoe. So thankfully, save points coming in clutch. It feels like Sergeant Bird's movement is faster going from side to side than forwards and backwards. So strafing is really quite useful. Grabbing Gladys, and then we're going to ascend the last few collectibles.
Alright, okay. I had no clue where that rocket was going, but alright.
He's offered a mission. It's going to become the next rocket storage.
Oh, okay. The any percent scars, man. Okay, we're about to see the whole reason why anyone should play this game ever.
Perfect gems. And there it is.
Alright, I've seen
Moving
enough.
on!
Yeah, I'm gonna start crying if I keep looking at that, bro. You keep going.
Yeah, that would be some time loss if we watched the entirety of the Burn Dance cutscene. I think you can imagine the rest.
He really breaks it down on a whole new level, but we can't stick around, sadly.
Nope.
Just long enough to see the premise of it.
Indeed. Now then, Midday Garden's done for the moment. We will return eventually, but not yet.
Right, hold on. Concentration needed for this one more time. Oh, I love it. Oh, love it.
So, he's trained for this.
Yeah, I know. Although extremely exaggerated, it is actually heartbreaking to get it because it would be about 2 minutes of RTA time loss. In a marathon based on RTA timing, it's kind of crucial we don't get that glitch. So
We are trying to not give away the plot. You have to play the game for yourselves to know what really happens.
yeah, you got the flossing skeleton and the lore aspect, so I'd recommend picking this game up for that.
Not to mention, it's really a lot of fun controlling Spyro.
Oh yeah.
You can do little charge hops. Now, this is a pretty standard boss fight. All we really want to do is deny Spike from getting any power-ups himself. So if we just track Sergeant Bird in the air, we can grab all of them first. Occasionally they get placed underneath Spike, and we can't do anything about that. But there are ways to manipulate what attacks Spike does, like this. Very good job.
Early Willy time.
Yep. So by moving in front of that terrain in the background, we find ourselves walking very close to the whirligig. And that way we don't have to wait so long for the game to figure out where Spyro is.
There's actually an occasion where if you do that jump so perfectly to where you're at your highest point, you'll actually fall through the whirligig and it will show this little cinematic right here with no one on board. Which is pretty comedic.
Even before that, you end up seeing Spyro jump off the whirligig back into the level as it takes off without him. He just doesn't want to leave Spike behind.
No, it's a good friend.
Was he?
I think so. Wait, he was trying to kill us, but I think he was alright.
He's misunderstood.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Now, the route for evening is quite interesting. There's a lot of gems to collect in this world.
Whoops.
We're going to try and abuse the fact that we have to quit game in a moment and respawn back at the start of the hub. Very nice. So welcome to Jank Whale. Occasionally Jank Whale will do bad things when we leave, so instead we're not going to give him the chance. We're going to evaporate.
Evaporate?
Yeah, he's just gone. Dissolved.
Dissolved into nothingness.
Got getting a little bit existential over here.
This might be a Spyro run, but deep down, it's a little more than that.
Always. This is the problem with long categories. Your mind tends to go to different places.
Spyro.
So, Charmed Ridge. This is an interesting level. The AI is quite merciless. We're going to do our best to take them out before they can target us, and preferably avoid getting in their way. Running past these ones, grabbing all the gems that we can see. It's a pretty tough wall glide from this side. Good job.
You can actually soft lock on that wall glide
Yes.
by falling infinitely against 2 weird polygons, and there's no way to recover it except quitting out the game and loading back in.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever experienced that. Never in my run.
It is a heartbreaker. Oh my god, my aim.
It's okay.
Okay. That
Nice.
was not comfortable with that, but we're good.
No problem. So what we were doing here is trying to get the maximum value out of that fireball power-up, because we're only going to use it twice. So on this visit, we're going to try and take out as many enemies as possible, removing the one that changes the cycles on those steps. And it will get us to the Jack minigame pretty early. You can see a little charge input off the top of the mushroom, which allows us to do a glide just a little bit earlier. For whatever reason, if you don't do that, you tend to have to wait for the second bounce. I'm going to talk about a very fun strategy in a moment, but you'll also notice we're not using the daisies very much. We're using... Okay, that's fun.
Okay, wait, I can recover this actually. Oh wait, can I?
It's fine. You can also burn it to reduce it to a seed.
Oh yeah, you're right, okay. Oh my god, that scared me.
Yeah,
Oh,
occasionally standing on dirt will place the mushroom right underneath you. It's quite unhelpful. The game is trying to help, but it doesn't understand. But yes, we're doing a short perfect hover to get on top of the mushrooms without help from the daisies, which are typically there to save us some time. So, what we've done is we've triggered the second cutscene before the first cutscene. This will give us the first egg, Shelly. We're going to grab these last 2 gems, and then Jack is just going to warp up here, and he's going to try and take us with him. But because we've dropped down, we're on the level underneath. So although we grabbed the egg, we are now in the head bash chest room. Some nice geographical positioning. 2 more vases and we're out. I remember the first time I saw that trick, I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, I remember we're learning the category and seeing that trick and just not understanding anything, but once you know what's up, it's a pretty simple trick and pretty fun to watch too.
Yep. Very good for time save. I couldn't tell you how much time it does save, but it's some. More than nothing. So it's good enough to use. Okay, so this is the first time we've run into a mystery vase in Spyro 3. There was also one in Bamboo Terrace, but we're not going to be dealing with that just yet. Mystery vases teleport around the map before finishing back in spawn. And thankfully, because we've shot it the first time, it's not going to go back to its starting position. It will only do so if you die. This cat minigame, the way we're clearing it is as optimal as it can be, but not the most consistent. If that makes any sense.
That makes sense,
Optimal
yeah.
but inconsistent.
Gotta risk it.
Absolutely. So what we do is we position Sergeant Bird a little bit forwards, and we drop him down to the level of the first cat wizard. And then we basically just spam rockets. And if you slowly ascend as the cat wizards leave the portal, most of the heat-seeking rockets will do the job for us. The timing of the rockets is a little more precise than just mashing circle though, because the rocket has to recognize the wizard in front of them before it can lock on. And if they're too far away, the rocket does nothing. Sometimes you have to aggro them before they get hit, but that was a nice one at the end. Overall, pretty clean. Good job.
Oh, I skipped the cutscene. Nice.
Yeah.
I wish I knew how to, yeah, I wish I knew how to do that. I really don't. So normally we would get a cutscene there of the gate reopening because we left without finishing the or getting the end of level egg. But sometimes you're just able to skip getting the cutscene. It's a good time save, but it's nothing. Not make or break.
Did you see that fairy still in the doorway?
Oh my god. Hello.
Okay.
And goodbye.
Yeah, she's meant to despawn, but I guess not.
Some funky business is going on here.
Now that mystery vase has just crossed over the water. It's very inconvenient for us to go and grab it, so we're just going to try and snipe it with the fireball power-up. Pick up the last gems from this cave. Taking out the 2 cat wizards, lining it up, and dropping down where it will next spawn.
I'm a little bit weird with this gem count. I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get into the habit doing this run of starting to recognize gem numbers in the thousands. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. This is the gem count I'm on before I finish this level, blah, blah, blah. But it's not necessarily as accurate in our heads. It's just nice to think about so that we're confident in the routing we're doing. Having to backtrack, though, you know, a part of this run is quite inconvenient when it's not planned for.
Nice. My worries were for nothing, so we're all good.
It's important to stay optimistic, but also to be pragmatic in places. Now then, we can quite easily go over to the next level, which is dead opposite. Now, as far as speedways go, I don't particularly enjoy Honey Speedway, but at least we have a cool way of doing the time trial.
Yeah, I don't think anyone does. I think it's like debatable on which speedway is the worst. I think the first 3 being Country, Honey, and whoops. Okay,
No
I
problem.
have not hit that guy since I've been derusting. But you can
I find
argue.
I charge it usually,
Oh, actually, I do remember charging. Whoops.
but you risk going into Honey by doing that.
That's true.
For reference, the Honey is an insta-kill, like all the water, so we try and avoid that. So even by attempting to optimize the order in which we kill these enemies, it's still over a minute to clear the speedway. I believe the fastest way time trial has ever been done is still barely under a minute, maybe a 58.5. Shoutouts to Fiora.
IL's first speedways are pretty impressive. They use keyboard mouse for sharp turns, of course. A little too advanced and very reset heavy for a speed run, so we opted to just do it optimally, but not as okay. Yo, I was gonna say.
Yeah, that was a strange way to finish the level, but good job.
Oh, camera's a little weird here.
We don't need to worry about the camera at least, because Hunter's going to take over for us now. Worth noting, the reason we try and do all the Hunter mini-games this early in Evening Lake is because he will be taken away from us temporarily towards the end. And there'll be a cutscene that plays, we will try and skip it. And so if we were then to arrive at the Hunter minigame here,
That was
not to worry.
yeah, that was. I've never.
You get a few chances.
Yeah, I've never failed this. I hope today isn't the day. Very, very concerning.
I know there's a donation incentive for you to throw the run here.
Oh really? Okay. I'll plug my controller. Call that a day.
I don't think so. So yeah, like we don't want Hunter to be missing when we're trying to complete all these levels. And that does influence the order in which we do them.
We get Hunter back once we finish the boss for this hub, and we don't really revisit this hub until way later. And the route we take is pretty far out the way if we were to leave this minigame for later.
Yep.
So we just hang right at the start and clear everything out.
On Singular Visit, this is probably up there as one of the longest hub worlds. And not just because of the content, but because all we leave behind for a second visit is a Sparks level and Fireworks Factory. Everything else we do on first sitting. As with all races in this game, all we can really do to try and speed things up, and typically, as I say it, cursed.
The jinx.
Yeah.
You were thinking it, and the game was like, "Oh, you say less. We know. We're gonna catch him up. Don't worry."
Yeah, the blue star hitboxes are a little misleading, so it's usually a good idea to go for the center. And there are a few locations where supercharging is optimal. Don't worry about that. In a perfect world, you'd want to maintain up to white smoke, but these are relatively short platforms, so purple will have to do. First place now, it's a pretty close race. In terms of what we'll be doing next, there are a few more gems around Jank Whale that we want to grab. They're at the same level as the portals, so it makes sense for us to save those gems until we actually have finished Charmed and Honey. Then we're going to make our way to Lost Fleet, and Lost Fleet has one of the most interesting histories, I feel, with level routing. There's been a number of skips found, and the minigames themselves have also been optimized in some ways. Just because otherwise the level itself takes about 20 minutes just trying to complete it. So I'm not sure if we're down to half that time, but we definitely don't like losing a run to Lost Fleet.
Yep. Also, my silence in the speedways isn't just me being a bit shy. If you miss a ring in the speedway, even if it's just by a hair, you can't turn around to grab it and it will automatically fail you. So to understand how much time you lose, the timer on the top right is a good indication of how much time you'd lose RTA if you missed a ring. And if I was to say input a button, like charge and charge down and miss the ring, I would lose about 3 minutes. And on a speedway, or just in general, that's like game over, you know, your run's over. So we do our best to
Not to mention, it would not make for the most interesting visual experience.
Oh yeah, if I fail like a speedway a couple times in a marathon, I'm like, oh my bad, let's do it again.
I was almost convinced you were going to curse yourself, so
yeah.
I didn't want to say anything.
Right at the end, I've had it in runs where it's been like the final ring or the second last ring, and I've missed it, and it's heartbreaking.
I believe it's Country Speedway that's pretty frustrating in that regard.
Yep.
We'll get on to that. Not to worry. A few more gems at the base of Evening Lake, and now into Lost Fleet. Pirate Country.
Arguably the hardest split in the run, I would say.
Yep. A lot of risks in terms of how you can lose time. A lot to collect. But it is a creative route, and we'll be talking it through. So at the start, we end up following the intended route that the developers have put in. I'm going to grab a few metal chests as well.
I didn't hear I wrote that. Oh my god. Okay, there we go. Jeez, I've never struggled with that chest so much.
It's not a problem. We could technically grab that metal chest a bit later as well. But as we're there, we give it a go. But of course we can't collect it yet. We're still on the lowest level of this map. Spark's feeling a little unhealthy. If by now no one's figured out the tier system, either you're at 0 Sparks and 0 health therefore, or 1 health on Spyro. You're at green Sparks, which is 1 hit point. Blue Sparks, as we are here, is 2. Gold Sparks is 3 hit points, and after we complete a Sparks level later, don't worry about the cycles, we'll be up to 4, which lets us do some interesting damage abuses.
So I'm gonna do a trick that isn't really part of the route, but just to show off. I have a couple people who want me to do this, so
Let's go.
there you go. So,
Very nice.
Cool little trick there. It's not optimal, it just looks cool. So
The power of PC wall glides in action. Right, Dan. We continue. Typically, yes, this is also the second level where we have to snipe birds, and you can imagine that does lead to some frustrating time loss. There might be a 5 gem back there. Maybe you already grabbed it. Yeah. I suppose my secondary position here is to be gem radar.
my other sparks.
Oh god, I'm not getting paid enough. We go for the early hit on the one back here. There is a more consistent setup, but there's no harm in trying for it.
Oh my goodness. Hello? Okay, well, you know what?
Alright.
I left all my snipes and icy. There we go.
American Sniper goes to sleep. Nice.
Yikes. I think this is... Alright.
Let's say it.
Okay, let me just get this one. No! Okay.
There we go.
Wait, that was
You can
probably
see.
the worst I've seen in a good bit, sadly, but it's alright.
Blame it on the D-Rust.
Oh, yeah. It's the game's fault.
It is very punishing, for sure, because in those cycles, they're not always available to be hit. They're sometimes out of range. And it's kind of a mental game. If you miss it the first time, you have to convince yourself you're not going to miss it the second time, otherwise you end up wasting a lot of time in that cannon. This is a very cool torch jump. Very clean.
Oh, nearly didn't make that. We're good.
Yep, not to worry. That saves us gliding off the boat. We're trying to minimize the amount of visits to the boat that we can. The whole level is built around it, so in a standard playthrough you would have to go up onto the roof of it several times. Alright, this is nasty Nork country.
Mm-hmm.
Skateboarding races are one of the fun parts about this game. However, you are also tasked with grabbing all of the gems. So the fastest way to do this is to grab as many gems as you can on the first visit. And that way on the second race, we can focus purely on speed. Naturally, we try and prioritize speed on the first visit too. One nasty Nork fills the entirety of the boost meter, which is why you're seeing a lot of it. And that way Logic can just hold square. Another gem. Speaking of gems, one has just entered the chat. Hello, Cam.
Yo.
Flushed emoji.
Oh my.
Ah, there it is. Right, so collision on a skateboard. It's quite unforgiving.
Just when Cam joins the chat, my bad luck charm, I swear.
Alright, moving swiftly onwards. Again, we're grabbing blue stars. And this is the fastest way to complete a lap using the upper platform as well. Welcome in, Lack. And just a few more gems before lap 3 is finished. Yes!
Here we go again.
Yep. Now this time we have to take out all the crabs as well. And we can grab about 8 or 9 of them on a single lap. That would be the goal, and then we can focus on the fastest route through the level. That's 7 down. 8. And as you can see, we can't do all 10 because they split them off into the 2 passages at the end. Grabbing all the boost we can. Almost bonking.
Yeah, that was
Just
close.
running on the edge. What's up, dude? Alright, so story time. Some people might remember. There's a fun little bonk. We've seen that before. I can't remember when. Yeah, I've once had to do 4 laps of this race. Colliding with Hunter and getting knocked off my board seemed to trick the game into thinking I was still on lap 2. And I have no idea if it's been experienced by anyone else. It's not fun.
It's pretty rough. Ooh, okay.
No worries. Running the boost out to the end. Getting another trick in there. And now we're going to quit the game. Runs over. See you later.
See you later, guys. Alright, we're good.
Once again, quitting the game puts us back to the spawn, and that puts us much closer to where we want to go next. Nice little starfish setup for this jump. We get a little bit of height off the ground, into a wall glide. That guy trying to outplay us.
I know, I kind of outplay myself in there a little bit there.
It's a mental game. And by grabbing those first 4 gems very quickly, we don't need to revisit the power-up, and we can get to the end of this acid section to grab Chad. Shout out to Dylan J. Fox.
the Omega Chad.
Aye. Subs is fun. Everyone loves subs.
I've been mad sloppy with subs. Subs 1 is apparently the easy, or it is the easiest. It's the one I've been struggling with the most. Hopefully that can change, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So an added condition when doing subs in 117 is we have to destroy the metal chests as well.
Oh, okay.
You know, that was almost perfect. I wanted to just wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. Really, really good.
Watch me screw up subs 2 now.
No, don't worry. Okay. As you can see, we have an idea of what the cycles are.
Uh-oh.
It's alright.
There we go.
Good job. Yeah, so really, it's the first few that really matter. Because once you grab them, a lot of the cycles happen in similar locations. So in chasing down one of the subs, you might actually get a couple. There's the last one. We do have the lock on, but we try not to rely on that. No scopes are much cooler. The MLG.
FaZe will pick me up after the marathon with how good. I mean, after the bird snipes, I don't really know. I don't think they would be interested, but I might have forced them back.
We can edit the montage down to just show you best moments. It's fine. In collecting gems during this section, we do have to consistently revisit the invincibility power-up, or Spyro's going to die. But again, because we have upgraded sparks, the lines we can take to complete the section are as tight as they can be. This way we don't need to run over every gem. Some of them it makes sense to. But certainly this upper area, we can cut a bit on the inside, and Sparks runs out wide to grab the reds for us.
In most casual playthroughs, I don't think most people would do or even know of Crawdad Farm, so these kind of sections can be pretty tedious, having to quit in and out of the level. But because we pick up Crawdad, our lines can be pretty forgiving. It's not that hard once you have Crawdad's upgrade.
Yep, Sparks is absolutely the MVP of this run, but we're still going to trash talk him.
He's still the worst thing in this game, even though he comes in clutch sometimes.
Yep. Counterintuitive much. Okay, so we're taking a high line up here because we already grabbed. Have we already done fireworks?
No. fireworks is the last one.
Ah, yes, because we do it after Frozen. I remember now. See, rooting is not always second nature. Sometimes you need a reminder. That's why we run with splits. So, we do have an egg still to grab in the lower water, but because we'll be leaving a portal in a couple of levels, we get a lot closer to that egg. It makes more sense to save it for then. Nice jump there. It's a really unforgiving miss. You have to then climb a ladder to make the same height. Bentley has been freed. Pog.
Champ.
Alright. There is a request coming up.
Oh.
Alright, so I remember not too long ago seeing a run from somebody called Nost. It may have been at an event known as GDQ. And upon hitting this gong coming up, I'm wondering whether we can get some gongs in the chat. That's G-O-N-G, all caps.
I think it's a fair request.
Help us out, chat. 360 no scope.
that was more so to check the gems around me, but another clip for the phase montage that'll pick me up now for sure after that one.
Hell yeah. The gongs are very important. Let's go! Love to see it, thank you. We have one more gong coming up.
Oh.
Almost.
Oh, early gong? Oh.
Nah, that doesn't work.
I wish.
Yeah, we're always trying to find ways to optimize the game, don't you worry. If we find an early gong, we'll be telling you all.
Alright, let's prepare in the chat then.
Gong number 2. I just realized my gong is really early.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not watching in the Twitch chat. Jumping the gun a bit. There's not a whole lot of tech to Bentley. We're trying to optimize our lines to pick up gems because he moves very slowly and we don't want to have to backtrack. Pushing these boxes, we can clip the sides of them and sort of continue walking at a regular pace. But it's also a little risky for being slower. Interacting with Bartholomew with our movement can soft lock him temporarily, so we let him do his thing and we do ours.
I believe I've lost a world record pace run because I got a lot with Bartholomew and he fell between the crate and the ledge and he got soft locked in there. It's pretty heartbreaking when that happens, so I make sure to stay clear of that.
Black, you've got to do an exhibition of KBM jumps. Do it one day. So now we're going back, but we're taking the cave route this time. Staying true to our don't revisit the same lines motto. We've got a dead gem up here, so we make sure to grab it, because it's very slow to get back up there.
I know the first time I found out that was a dead gem was also in a run. And I didn't get the gem pop up and I was wondering where it was, and I just saw it shining on the ledge and I swiftly reset my run because it takes so long to get back there.
Very painful. Bentley complete. And he is now available for the next level.
Oh yeah, immediately after we see Bentley again.
Yep. This is why we don't do Frozen first, even though it's probably one of the closest portals to the spawn. Now, this is the part where Hunter goes AFK.
He says BRB for a little bit.
Needs a toilet break. It's a long run.
It is.
Okay. It's funny, actually, because despite learning how to maneuver with Bentley in the previous level, we end up not using those buttons at all. Really. We have an entirely new moveset. We'll get on to that. Frozen has a very tough jump coming up. It's a wall glide that can save a lot of time in this route. Nice AI.
Oh my god.
Okay. Another thing to mention is Spyro has just been kissed by a fairy and has ice breath. I was going to say flame breath. I think we already knew that. And typically when completing this level, you would use the Ice Breath a lot. Thankfully for us, we can sort of get around it with some new lines. Melting a snowman, which is not recommended.
Normally he would grab us, like strangle us, and then throw us back, so we have to go in those little lighthouses to clear everything.
Yes, indeed. Nice little wall glide to avoid having to backtrack and freeze. Le duck. Lots of gems to collect up here.
Okay.
Yeah, I also thought maybe there was a one back. No worries. Here is said wall glide.
There you go.
Very nice. This is not a PC specific trick, but the way we do it is PC specific, if that makes sense. There is an alternative method for console. Alright, so Bentley Boxing. We like to go to 30 FPS if you're not already. Logic is currently AFK because he has to do virtually nothing here. He's spamming square and X in alternating patterns. Pretty much trapping the opposing Yeti. No 50 FPS on Bentley.
Yeah, if it was 50, we'd be here for a long while.
Yeah, it's a real duel.
Cam made a really funny joke that slayed me. On 30 FPS, the Yeti is very slow with his actions, but he actually gets faster at the higher FPS. So at 30 FPS, he's your oh my god, okay, never mind.
Yeah, there it is.
At 30
He fights
FPS, he's your rookie fight, and at 50, he's Mike Tyson. And I believed it. And he's looking like it right now, oh my god!
He's coming up the ranks.
He is.
He's been training. Those 4 seconds between phases, he was working out. Getting limber. So yeah, obviously there's a lot more HP to play with in the second round, so it's a lot slower. And naturally it can mess with you a little bit when he lands some hits, but we're out of there. Skill point acquired. We do not do a skill points and 117% run, thankfully.
One day,
Perhaps someone
I
would
wanna
like
give
to
that-
do that, yeah.
Yeah, one day I think I might give that a good crack.
I am curious to know how many of those skill points require a lot of time.
I'm curious too. I know the conversation was brought up with my chat a little bit ago, and there were some ludicrous ones, at least for Spryo 1,
Oh no.
where you have to like lap Nasty Nork 3 times in the final level, which kinda sucks.
I mean, it's slower, but it's the only way. Cat
Yeah, they
hockey
went
is
so
my
hard.
favorite. Absolutely love this game. Free at the start, very nice.
Oh, what? That one didn't count? Oh wait, which one didn't count?
Okay.
I could swear I knocked 3 over here, like, that were, like, gonna make it. What happened?
Cam, shush. I can like cats. And hockey. Yeah, I guess he must have defrosted on the line. Oh, we're gonna put the rhino.
Oh! Whoops! Sorry, man, I didn't mean it.
Okay.
My bad.
Yep. That's some friendly fire. Okay, moving on to the rest of the level now. A few more gems to collect. A slightly awkward jump, but shouldn't be a struggle. And then we're going to clear out the caves.
I believe those mammoths down there are the only enemies in the game that don't have gems on them. Might be wrong on that, but... Oh, actually, I'm wrong. There's the bandits in Fireworks as well.
Okay. You are correct that they do not have gems, and it's kind of strange because they even set up another laser for us. So you would assume that they give you something. All right. So in the process of defrosting, we can't actually break that enemy, which is kind of strange. But hey, Frozen Altar's done. I didn't ask for any sour pleases in the chat, which is a shame because it has such a good soundtrack. But also coming up is Fireworks Factory.
Oh yeah.
And if anyone would be so willing, sour pleases would go a long way. Yes, the music in this game is really something. So there's the egg we left behind earlier. As we're en route to fireworks, it makes sense. Last few gems. And we're going to guidebook away from fireworks because of how far it is from the rocket.
Mm-hmm. I think coming up is the best egg in the game. Actually, in all 3 games, I would say. It's a
controversial indeed.
I know.
But we have... Oh, thank you for the sour pleases. We have a little running joke in the community. There's a nice emote made by Nost, known as Nudes, spelt N-O-O-D-S. And that is because we're about to save from the lava that surrounds them the egg noodles. I said that too fast. It sounds like I'm saying egg noodles.
Nudes.
There's noodles.
But
Not to worry. Grabbing this rocket to grab the metal chest. We now have all the gems of this lower area. And can focus on progressing. Claiming these guys from behind is the intended way if you don't have a missile. There are some moments... Oh, that guy came. That was a pretty good shot.
yeah, I'll give him that one.
Mm-hmm. 1 to Ninja, 0 to Logic.
Feels bad. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, we've had some jank happen in the following spot regarding one of these tall enemies.
Okay.
Or
I like to take a sec to verify because that 5 gem has a really bad habit of falling out of bounds, and when a gem from an enemy falls out of bounds, you have to either leave the level and come back later or quit the game. And because of this spot, it's extremely problematic to grab.
Nice no scope on the guy on the other end of the bridge. And there's the metal chest. And before we grab those gems, we're going to do what's known as Ninja HQ. Still got sparks, so it's not a problem. Ninjas 2, Logic 0.
Okay. That ninja is pretty. It was a ninja on the front of my mind because when we were practicing the run, he actually fell out of bounds, which was a really comedic sight. Something that I don't think that I had ever seen.
Yeah, this game will continue to surprise us.
Whoops!
That's alright, they respawn. The
go.
reason we get some distance the second time is because you notice we took damage there. The AoE explosion does quite a bit. Yeah, it goes to show how easily these rockets can be missed. You have to line up directly. They will only go in straight lines. I think it's safe to say Logic is now winning the head-to-head with the Ninja Gunners.
I would hope. Whoops!
Oh, okay. Handle doesn't like being ignored.
I'm actually gonna.
Yeah, that makes sense. Notice how we didn't wait for Sparks to actually eat the butterfly. He just kind of consumes it as we leave. Now Greta's going to clear the path for us. We'll have to grab those gems on a second visit. Alright, Scorch coming up next.
I believe we're at the halfway point of the run. At least RTA. I don't recall RTA-wise how deep it is, but...
I think we are slightly over, in fact. But Scorch is definitely a good place to assume. As, although we have 2 boss fights left right now, well, technically 3, so much of the end game is done with the guidebook. So the path between levels is much quicker.
Okay, whew, no cutscene
Hey.
there as well, so happy days.
Yeah, we're safe a bit longer. Alright, Bentley's going to be sending some ammunition for us to deal damage to Scorch. There are two types of ammo, red rockets and green rockets. Sometimes Scorch will shoot flames.
Ooh, the 1 out of 8!
That's
Ooh.
perfect.
Love it.
Sometimes he'll shoot flames and sometimes he'll spawn mobs with eggs. What we want is then to consistently be forced to shoot fire. You can do this by shooting him as he flies to his next point, I suppose. He's going to spawn eggs if we leave him alone, essentially. So this is known as a stun lock. We will not be going for a trick known as rocket storage, to the dismay of the chat. It's far too inconsistent and completely unnecessary for this run. I mean, if it saved time, it would be the bare minimum.
I might be on track. No, he
You can give it a go.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nah, I'm not gonna go for it. If I had a green, maybe, but I didn't have a green on me, so sorry.
It's all right. You're baiting the chat. That's what this is. Funnily enough, we use a metronome to calculate when Bentley's going to launch his next projectile when Scorch is on 1 hit. It's 124 BPM, I believe.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Some people like to use songs. Some people like to use cat jam. Some people like to have a physical metronome. The bottom line is this is very much an any percent centered trick.
Yep, it's really cool. Basically, it allows us to carry the rocket from that boss fight into this hub area, which lets us skip some big segments of the of some worlds.
Yeah, there was initially... Oh, nice.
There we go.
There was a use, and there probably still is technically a use, in Midnight Mountain. We can snipe the Egg Thief from spawn with a green rocket. But ultimately, because of the gems we have to collect, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense.
Give a little bit of time for some donations.
do it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, we have the perfect times. We have a slow point up ahead. So yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. We have $10 from Clock District, who says F for that poor ladybug. I think that one came a little while ago. We have another $10 from Clock District, who says Frozen Altars has the best music in the game. Changed my mind. And we have $10 from Ali G96, who says Bentley Boxing is the best minigame. Changed my mind. Insert 9 love. And we have met Wyatt's first singing incentive, and there's now a second one to sing the reprise later in the run.
Oh, very good.
And this is the end of my hosting shift, so I will toss it over to Joker Sleeps, who will be your host for the next couple hours.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
everyone.
Thank you, Governor.
Welcome in, Joker.
Hello.
Righty. So as you can see, this is a very slow section.
I made it a little interesting sniping them early, but we kind of just at the mercy of this boat having to sail around.
Have we messed about with FPS at all doing this?
I have never had the thought. No, I actually don't know if others.
Imagine it went super quick.
Comes a speedboat at 60. I'd love that.
We'd just become envious. We'd want the same boat movement for the whole game.
Oh, true.
Spyro boating free.
Boat simulator.
Similarly to how the races work, we still have to pay attention. It's very clear when the enemies are coming once you've played the minigame a few times, but the risk of one of the pandas getting hit will force you back to the start. Not to mention, you can actually hit the pandas yourself with the fireball power-up. That is not very fun.
Yep. It would have to reset to the very beginning, and that segment is not something anyone wants to repeat, so...
No, it's not the most engaging. I'm loving all these OG facts in chat, by the way. Keep them coming. If only we had a few more SRT facts. Oh, I guess that's my job. Okay, so Bentley gets another moment in the spotlight. running around this pretty open area. Spark's doing a lot of the legwork. We could smash boulders. Feels very satisfying. We also have to deal with TNT a little later. There is another technique for removing that from our path. Which object we have to deal with is RNG based. So sometimes we only deal with rocks, sometimes only TNT.
Yeah. You actually lose a small fragment of time if you do get TNT, because you can walk forward while slamming the hammer down, but you have to be stationary to reflect. So you can lose, like, I think maybe, I would argue, like a second or two tops.
Small Bentley.
Small Bentley.
Can that be a cheat code?
That was a wide people high Bentley right there.
What I'd really like to see actually is a mod of like flat Bentley and the same size club.
That'd actually be great. I would love that.
Alright, so taking out these boulders. Oh, no TNT today. Very good. Making short work of the metal chests and the enemies. We're gonna grab Brubeck here. Let me drop one down to take out these last enemies, which is quicker than if we went to the left the first time. It's the end of Bentley's section, and now we go on to the Mystery Vase. Makes a fun return.
Shouts to the 2 gem on the mountain I just passed, having two gems directly on top of each other. I think the only instance of that in the entire Reignited trilogy, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, someone definitely forgot to split them up.
Yeah.
But perhaps they're happier together.
We don't know the backstory. I guess we can't judge.
Law percent when. Second mystery vase, and you can see why we left so much of bamboo before. We're forced to clear the entirety of this area basically, so it makes sense to wait until we do the mystery vase.
I hope I don't get shot immediately after regaining control. Okay.
Never mind, he's giving you a chance.
I had the wind up for it, I won't lie, I got a little scared.
Alright, we wait on this enemy because they're dropping down from the sky. We do not know where they came from. Perhaps cloud spires.
Probably cloud spiders.
It's always cloud spires.
The root of every problem in this game. Cloud spiders.
2 eggs for the price of 1 almost. Not quite as good as with the fireball power up before. So just a couple more mystery vase hits and we can leave the level. Part of why we guidebook here and then exit level is so that we can arrive close to the Country Speedway portal. All being well, this should be all the gems.
Nice,
Love
nice.
to see it. It's always rough in mystery vase segments when you finally get it to the end and then realize there's still another gem somewhere on the map.
Yep, not seeing that gem, like 600 out of 600 pop up is probably the most heartbreaking thing, because you know you're gonna have to slug through the entire level to find it. Oh, I didn't grab that font.
That's okay. It's a little awkward. We will have to go behind the portal after we leave this level. Sparks was doing quite good up until then. He grabbed the red for us on the far left.
I'm pretty sure that's not a dead 5. Like that Sparks
No, it's
has
not.
picked up that in the past.
Did you do a roll input?
No,
I could have sworn I saw a roll input. Maybe I'm going crazy.
too much Spyro 3.
Yeah,
I think.
I just get a little bit lightheaded thinking about all the time I've spent on Country Speedway.
I know that little charge section right there is actually a little rougher. Oh my.
Don't worry.
goodness. Too late.
We'll go back for him.
That plane's caused me so much pain.
Plain pain.
Plane pain. I think I still am gonna get the
It's gonna be
animation.
close.
Oh yes.
He did it late this time, is it, as well?
Yeah. Charge input delays the end of it. Of course, it's not optimal because you lose like half a second or a second, but for the fans.
It technically would be optimal if it gave you the animation skip, I would have thought.
Oh yeah, but if you have the choice.
Yeah. Just for the fun of it.
Yeah. For the banter, I think.
British lads have banter over Spyro 3.
That's why the British have the best banter. It's about Spyro 3.
Someone make a poll. Does British people have the best banter? Who knows?
That might be an overwhelming no, but I can't see chat, so I'm safe with that revelation.
Very good. This is another very slow mini game. We're just on rails, shooting at all the UFOs.
If we have time for, if there's any donations, there'd be no problem reading them out right now because it's a pretty slow segment here.
Okay. Well, I don't know when, so I'm just gonna plug the charity because I don't know when that was last done. But we are raising money for RAD. RAD is Rise Above the Disorder. It's a non-profit dedicated to removing the two greatest barriers to mental health care: access and affordability. Their mission is to provide a universal mental health care system to people around the world. They have already helped over 35,000 people in 133 different countries. So we're trying to help support their goal and to help them reach more people in more countries. And also, as far as incentives go, after this run, we have the Pokemon Sword Tower of Two Fists Get Urshifu run. We have 2 naming incentives for Sabo, which is the starter Pokemon, and then Kubfu, which is a Pokemon that's used later in the run. Currently, for Sabo, we have Dampe leading at $75, Diluc at $15, and CF Ayaya at $10. And then for Kubfu, we have Dimmadome at $15. So if you want to change the name of any of those or extend lead more, feel free to donate to those. And then also for other incentives later in the day after the Pokemon Sword run, we have Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Wyatt Go the Distance reprise. We hit the first incentive for Wyatt to sing Go the Distance, but if you want a reprise, donate for that. We are currently 0 out of $50, so we need $50 to hit that incentive. And then after Wyatt's run, we have Kingdom Hearts 3, Swift Sings Let It Go. So if you want to hear Let It Go, we need 30 or 27.50 left to hit that incentive, or 30. 37. I can math. Yeah. 37.50. We need to hit that incentive. So I'll hand it back to Insert.
Lovely, thank you. Yeah, RAD is an excellent charity. I'm very happy to be a part of the work we're doing this weekend and over the past few days.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch all the other runners and their runs throughout the marathon. It's really nice to do it for a good cause and to take part in some really interesting speedruns that you may not have ever seen. So, pretty cool. I respect it a lot.
I really enjoyed the Cleopatra run. I think it was just before us. I've never seen that game. That was really cool.
The music was actually pretty banging, I won't lie. It caught me off guard a little bit.
Yeah, we should have played the OST in the background instead of Copeland's work. Right. So as far as races go, this is run-of-the-mill. Grabbing all the blue stars that we can, some nice charge tech to save fractions of a second. This next charge gets us a lot of time save. We also grab the blue star straight afterwards. And towards the end of this race is a little spooky. There is a slightly tricky ring. I'm going to play it safe.
There we go. Normally, I would cut into the barn, but because that ring kind of stretches out a little bit away from the barn, I've lost runs to trying to cut that corner a little too sharp. So I'm very careful for that.
You and me both, Chief.
Mm-hmm.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah, you gotta lose runs, some pretty disastrous spots to know what not to do. I think that's something I currently be told because it's kind of like, I would never miss it until you do.
We got that purple outside the portal.
Yep. Oh wow, thanks, Sparks. Cheers. Wow. You was quick on that one, huh? Oh my god. Jeez.
He just looks at you like, oh, do you need this?
Oh, a 5G. Whoa.
Why didn't you pick that up, Spyro?
Yeah,
Well, I don't know, buddy.
Do you not see this? Like, oh man. Oh.
Okay, 50 FPS for Sparks. We get the power up very early in this one. As we've experienced before, it would be very nice for Sparks to have his own mini Sparks. But no, unfortunately we have to run into all the gems in these levels.
It's good to note there are a lot of power-ups in the Sparks levels, minus the shield and the triple orb. And even though the other power-ups are pretty cool, the triple orb is the best one because obviously we can use our FPS to change it, and it's I think railgun. But it just I can't speak, demolishes anything in its too much Spyro 3 for me too, I think.
That's alright, that's why I'm here. Enjoy the running around. These enemies are very frustrating. They get flame shields that will repel our attacks.
Better than
I don't think charging into them does anything.
No.
You just take damage, yeah.
I think you just take damage.
You'll notice we can take quite a few hits as Sparks. Each of the hits we take is split amongst the forms. We can grab those gems later, it's all good. We're kiting the enemies around as much as we can, because it slows us down to have to shoot all of them. And we don't want to really waste our power up either.
Oh, wow.
Always right after fodder. Okay, so we got purple in the middle, and we are on to the next bit. Last few enemies. Nice, didn't get hit. Playing on the edge. Alright, it's hard to dodge those guys, but it doesn't matter. Here we have the giant spider. Arachnophobes look away. He won't last very long. We're trying to collect the gems in the corners at the same time, but you can see the very brief amount of time we're in its face, we just shred it. You might be wondering, based on what we said earlier, why we didn't exit level. We don't get a power-up after doing Spider Town. In OG, we would get Sparks Radar, I believe. But because we already have it in Reignited, they don't give us anything. Part of what makes the jump to Hannah earlier so crucial is we end up having to go up the ladder to access the Sparks level. So we don't really want to have to do that climb twice. Interestingly enough, Starfish Reef goes against the grain regarding enemies. We have to clear each room of enemies before the door can open. This is not too bad. Again, we get the power up very early, which will DPS much harder than regular attacks. And there are a few opportunities to maximize our ammo once more. And it makes such short work of the Starfish multiples. Typically, Sparks levels are not frequent, but we route them all together because we really want to get the final upgrade as early as possible. Joker, you are more than willing to read out anything if you'd like.
Oh yes, good.
We have a $25 donation from Toasted Cat saying, nice run logic, : end parenthesis.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cat.
I do not remember these levels in the original.
The Sparks levels can be easily missed because they're only unlocked once you beat the hub boss. And a lot of people normally don't like to backtrack, they get the 100% in the levels and move on. But once you know about them, I think it makes the game honestly like a million times easier with Sparks upgrade and such. And the upgrade we get from this world too. It makes everything a lot easier.
Yeah, we always like having extra health.
And yeah.
can only think of perhaps 1 or 2 instances where extra health is a massive help. But one of those tricks saves us a huge amount of time. And for consistency's sake, there's no reason not to talk to Zoe. We probably lose 6 to 7 seconds.
I believe it's
we would
7.
lose a lot more.
Yeah. Because you have to deal with the loads as well.
The Manta Ray was the boss.
Very quickly just dismantled right there.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that threatening to us. You can see the sheer power of the railgun. Okay, we're nearly at the Sorceress.
Yeah, RTA time loss here, which kind of sucks, but the bonus of having an additional hit point for Sparks makes everything a lot easier. Endgame kind of lacks in fodder, so if you get caught out in an area and you're on either green or 0 Sparks, it's going to hurt a lot more than it would in the earlier parts of the run.
Yep. We do have habits of death abusing if we are near Zoe, but not everywhere poses such an opportunity.
Whoops.
Menus are hard.
Okay.
But once again, switching to 30. I personally don't, actually, after Starfish, because we have to do Bugbot after Sorceress.
It's something I just started doing more for personal benefit, but it's probably no big difference doing it on 50. I just never really took the time. There are a lot of other things I could work on besides the couple seconds it would take to menu.
Yeah. I am curious, actually, whether or not the 30 would allow you to do your UFO tricks easier than on 50.
Maybe. I've never sat down and messed with it, probably.
Well, let's find out. Not today. We got a run to do. So we can immediately get out of the circle, and the Sorceress can barely reach us. And this way we can see the positioning of the cannon a little bit earlier, and it also prevents the Sorceress from running at us, which can be a pretty annoying attack to deal with. She's allowed to take 2 hits in phase 1, so you can see the preemptive cannon jump, knowing that the next phase is beginning. We really want her to be shooting fireballs for the most part. It's the fastest attack she does.
Agent 9, okay, there he is.
Onto the tank phase. There's an interesting tech we can do here. Once she gets hit for the first time, she's going to run at us. So we slightly run away, turn. Once more. Phase 2 done. The Sorceress has a pretty big hitbox, not just to target, but if she runs after you, she can sometimes bonk you off the vehicle you're driving. We're going to try and avoid that.
Uh-oh. Okay.
He's slick. Now this tech here, we're not going to see it in its full extent.
Yeah.
Here we are. Back again.
Okay. Oh!
Iframes.
Yo,
Okay.
I made the mistake of using... You have to use the directional pad to get better turns on the UFO, and I accidentally switched to analog, which isn't that sharp, so it failed.
Yeah, that's a tech. I don't believe anyone else is currently doing that tech for the phase 3.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's definitely, I believe, much quicker than the old tech, but I think just the learning curve is a little bit worrisome. Because if you go up a little too high, she'll attack and reset herself. And if you go too low to the ground, I think you can get knocked off by her, and get hit by her.
Yeah.
So it's
that's her hitbox. Alright, before we do the last Sparks level, I wanted to mention the standard way of doing the UFO phase 3. We tend to take really wide turns. The Sorceress will chase us, but she can't leave the circle. So you drag her to the edge, she runs back to the middle, at which point we are able to line up again and hit her. This level hinges a lot around keys, so what we can do is from range we can snipe the crabs, and they will be forced to run back to their treasure, which we will steal away.
Oh my
It's fine.
God.
We're allowed to take a hit or 2, or 4. The main thing is to take that key crab out immediately. I'm going to grab invincibility here and take out the horde. And once more we line up for the key crab. And now we're going to try and get the maximum value out of this power up. Charging into everything we can see. Particularly the enemies.
Yeah, the AoE for the shield is pretty sick. It picks up gems and kills enemies really fast, so we just kind of smother ourselves into these massive bug bots that would normally take... Oh, that's the name. Whoa. That would normally take a while to kill.
And we get the railgun power-up of the final spawner enemy. We can skip all of these. They get caught in the wall when we go down. And they'll be sitting there for us once we go back up to the boss. Best way to handle those moving enemies is to take them one at a time. Sitting in the middle means you'll probably take a few hits. Sniping the crab. A couple more gems. Taking on the boss around half health is totally fine, and well, there's fodder, so...
Yeah, just to be safe.
The ladybirds will have to sit and watch as we eviscerate the final boss of Sparks Worlds. Good stuff. Annabelle. And again, exit level, speak to Zoe. This is
now that we've done all that, now it's where the run gets really eye-opening, I think.
It's funny how we mentioned Scorch as the halfway point. For me, this is the halfway point. The rest of the run is like a different game.
I'll be honest with you, this is where the run starts for me.
Yeah.
Basically, now that we've talked to Zoe and done the bug bot, Sparks can actually break bases and baskets, as well as has an increased range. So I don't even need to go out of my way for most things. Like in this room, there's stuff in the corners, but just running through it like this. Sparks took up everything.
Yep, that is certainly optimal. And in a perfect world, we would find a way to acquire this power-up early in the game. But there's no way as of now. In the meantime, all we can do is enjoy the fact we don't need to charge into everything. Alright,
Speaking of charging into things.
Welcome back, Moneybags. So, we haven't spoken to him a huge amount, but we have unlocked a few of the side characters with him and a few mini-games. So he's got a lot of our gems in that bag, and we want them back. Can't 100% the game otherwise.
I think the lore details that all the gems in this bag are collected from 1 and 2, as well as this game.
Wow.
Which is pretty interesting.
Someone who's got a maths degree could work out how many gems should be in that bag.
Yeah,
That
maybe
would be nice.
It'd be really cool if it correlates to all the gems you pay him throughout the trilogy of games. That'd be really sick.
Yeah. But then is there a world in which you don't play 1 and 2, and therefore he should have no gems?
True. We just find money bag skips for everything.
Chat makes a good point. He's only in 2. He doesn't appear in 1.
Oh, does he not? Oh, okay. It goes to show how much I played 1 and 2.
You got to run that 120 a bit more, buddy.
Yeah, I do. Oh, you're right.
Exposed live on stream.
Oh, no.
Anyway. I kind of just completely skipped over one of the coolest EOL skips in the game. Logic has a certain way of doing it. There are a few lineups we can do. But by wall gliding into that wall and hovering at a right angle, we can trigger the ending cutscene. Speak to Tara, who is by far an original character and not based on anything. And then we have the end of level shortcut available to us, and we can also access a different route. We will be doing the level in reverse, starting with the Sharks minigame. It's pretty straightforward. Pretty much same controls as Spyro 2 Manta, but with a weapon equipped. So at least there's continuity with the Manta you get in Aquaria Towers. And Spark's making our life easier, grabbing as many of these as he can. sometimes when you're underwater looking for gems, it can be a bit frustrating to know if you've cleared it all. So what we're going to do after this green gem coming up is we're going to use the Sparks radar to tell. And because he points to the left, we know. He will point towards the portal.
Yeah, basically saying that this sub area is done and we can move on.
Exactly. Triple Scorpion Kick, 750 points. This isn't really a combo game. You can see these enemies are not intended to be taken on from behind. They're facing away from us, completely unaware.
Yeah, because of the EOL skip. This level is very lengthy, but because of EOL skip, it's over in about 5 seconds. In any percent we get EOL, I want to say 5 seconds off the start. When going through
Yeah,
this
it's
level
almost
casually.
instant.
Yeah, and you go through the level casually, it takes a couple minutes, I think. It's a pretty cool trick.
The level is designed with some creative glides in mind. Our goal is to do as few of them as possible and try and put them all in a sequence. Once again, we meet Sheila the kangaroo, but this time in a 2D style platformer. The fastest movement through here is pretty much to stand on the ground, but we still have the opportunity when there's a double jump to use a kick as well for the forward movement. Yes, this is Crash Bandicoot, but with a skin. Maybe less obstacles in our way. So far, Yemi's not giving us too much trouble. Some of the scorpions with ranged attacks on these ledges can be annoying, because if you jump at them too early, they will fire an attack that is pretty much unavoidable, sometimes knocking you into the acid.
You can get comboed pretty bad if you get caught out, which is why the Sparks upgrade for health is pretty valuable.
Yep, we're going to take a damage abuse here to get up to the higher platform. We have to drop down to grab a couple of vases. I've forgotten those numerous times, because you can't see them when you leave the portal, you just have to know.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I think I made a mistake picking up.
Yeah. Again, Sparks will prioritize fodder. So when we kind of need him because we're blinded by terrain, he's chilling. And he'll take a hit for his negligence.
Oh, dear.
Unlucky.
Okay, there we go.
He'll take another hit because we didn't calculate that. That's another enemy that lines up on attack, even though kind of feels a bit cheap. And in doing the level in reverse, we have the key early. And we're done.
700 gems, I think, is the biggest level in the game in terms of gems. Done pretty quick, honestly.
All of the hub 3 levels have 700 gems.
Oh, I knew that. I was just testing you, sir.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Yeah, I totally knew that, yeah, of course.
Keep me on the ball. How far in are we? We're about 2 hours 20 deep.
I think another hour and we'll be at the end game.
Indeed. Off to Agent 9. We didn't purchase Agent 9. He was just let free because Moneybags went off to become a haiku poet. That is true. That is actually what he does.
That's cool.
It's kind of sad that he doesn't show in Spooky Swamp, though. I've looked.
Oh wait, does he say he's going to Spooky? Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, we skip dialogue here in speedrunning communities. Alright, the professor can be a bit janky in that spot, but thankfully not today. Sometimes we have to reload the level.
I've actually learned, if you get the jank where you don't stand in front of him and talk to him, you just run behind him and you're able to talk to him there. You don't have to reload the level. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I was practicing a while ago when I was going for record attempts.
Yeah.
And I was kind of half paying attention, and I was just holding a certain direction, and I got the glitch, and I didn't clock it until I was behind him, and then it gave me the dialogue. I was like, oh, right, well, cool.
There it is. So the idea of this little Agent 9 bit is you're meant to zoom in But at that point, you can't see the entirety of this screen where they pop out. Technically, once you get down to 5 or 6, you will know where the last Rhinoc is, because they pop out in different spots.
Yeah, I think it's consistent spots, but different order.
Yep. Obviously, Agent 9 has a ray gun and is just kind of going COD mode all over these birds. Not a whole lot to his gameplay. You can't really platform with him very well. But there is something we can do at the end of this level. They hunt you down. There's something quite terrifying about these birds when they're hunting prey.
Oh, come on.
Just a couple more.
Really? Really?
Oh, Nest OP.
Creates a perfect barrier to protect him.
You'll notice that we were going around the perimeter of that room whilst we were sniping the birds so that we can let Sparks pick up the gems for us. Some nice bomb usage. Gonna take out the bottles in the sky early on. And now we focus on the boats. Now the boats can sometimes be very kind to us, but these Rhinocs are very far out.
Yeah,
bro.
they can be extremely frustrating to catch, especially when they're really far away like this. So, this one's
They're a little random. Oh, nice snipe at the back guy.
Yeah, I didn't even realise. Happy days.
Fade away.
Another fade away. I'm really not self-conscious, but like worrisome about these faces because I've lost 4 runs just forgetting that these faces exist.
I can confirm you haven't missed any. You've got them all now.
Thank you.
Sparks duties. The reason we grabbed that metal chest early is just so that we can grab the gems after speaking to the professor at the end of the level. Because he takes away our metal bombs. He doesn't like Agent 9 having access to such a dangerous weapon. However, he didn't forget to turn off this machine, so we just grabbed them again. Right, we're on 3 hits of Sparks right now.
I think I should be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're good. Alright, cool.
Let's explain what just happened. So by holding jump whilst coming out of the water there, Agent 9 has the property of getting quite a jump in height, which doesn't serve much practical purpose for actually completing level grabbing gems or anything, but we can cut across to the beginning of the level over that almost lake. Right, here we are on cleanup duty, back in Cloud Spires, doing the other side of the level that we didn't get to before. And we're going to do a fun little wall glide here. This is a bit of a run killer in other categories.
Oh, and this one. Okay.
It's okay. Yep, there's a spot in this rock face where you can auto hover.
Oh my lord.
So you need to not hold in as you reach the rock. That's great.
Okay. Whew.
It catches everyone out. It's
Been a
you can
while.
also die there. We were able to save it, but if you're too far across the rock face, it doesn't work out. This is followed immediately by another one in 117, just to grab a few gems up here. Bad cycle on the bellow, but doesn't matter.
I'm just gonna pop in for a second. Just want to let everyone know that we have reached over $1,500 raised for Rad. Let's go. So we reached it on a generous donation from Anonymous, $50, no comment. Just want to say thanks to everyone that's donated. All these generous donations have helped us raise over $1,500, and we're very grateful. So thanks to everyone, and I hope you keep enjoying the marathon.
Thank you so much, guys. Honestly, really appreciate all the generous donations today and for the last couple of days for the marathon. Been really cool to see.
You are the MVPs. Sparks, take a seat.
We've got real heroes in chat.
Alrighty, so Cloud Spy is done. No issues there, just taking a unique path that we wouldn't otherwise really do post Moneybags, or pre-Moneybags I should say. Alright, now we're back in Molten Crater. Because Moneybags is gone, once more, we don't need to pay to unlock this thief minigame. Sparks will be grabbing all the gems for us while we hunt them down. This yellow thief is a bit finicky. We need to take the tightest lines possible.
Oh,
Unlucky. Fine. We'll get him here, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
The risk is if he does another lap, it's very slow. Same could be said for the red thief, but obviously now we have Supercharge.
There we go.
Nice.
Alright, now here I'm actually gonna attempt to show off a personal strat that I made, where you can do a supercharge over everything with a controller. Normally you need mouse and keyboard for this section, but hopefully I will be able. Okay, I missed that face, that's fine.
There's only one missed, don't worry.
Oh, okay. Alright. I'll come back to that in the end.
Yep.
Okay. Obviously not the
that was
best.
pretty solid.
Yeah, obviously not the best because I missed the basket back there. But normally you need keyboard and mouse for that, and mouse, whoops.
Just for the skill point, huh?
Yeah.
For the fans.
For the fans, all skill points run.
So late in the game, Molten tends to provide some interesting moments. Not a huge amount of jank, but when it does provide jank, it's quite frustrating because we've already revisited the level, right? We don't want to have to quit game continue. Alright, that's unlucky. Flame just caught us. It's probably the most interesting use of Sergeant Bird. Because it's a smaller space, it doesn't feel as tiring, perhaps, to collect everything. But his level definitely takes a fair amount of time. Taking unique paths as much as possible. There's a bottle above us here. Sometimes when you shoot down bottles, you get sent all the way down. There's a random bug that applies the same properties of the bottle onto your character. Thankfully we haven't seen that.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that in my history of this game.
It's happened to me twice.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I could have died to it once because it was in Enchanted, and so I was over the void.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just managed to get over land before then. And we're going to talk to Shale here because he doesn't trigger the egg cutscene until you've got rid of his initial dialogue. And there it is. Almost exited the level there, but instead we're gonna guidebook.
Alright, time for the hardest split in the run. Actually, the hardest fight in the run. I'm gonna call it the hardest split.
Yeah, this is known as the worst boss battle to deal with. It's quite RNG, and they take a lot of hits. They can deal some damage, and they're very evasive. This is Twin Dragons. I gotta say, as far as people who run 117 Logic's pretty good at Twin Dragons, so let's see how we do. I gotta curse it for the marathon.
So we have a $75 donation from Swift Shadow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Says,
Yo.
best of luck with the end of the run, Logic. It's been an amazing watch so far. Really excited to see how much has been raised so far. Let's get to 2K. Donating towards CFIA for the Sobble name and Pokemon Sword. So, to update that incentive.
Awesome.
We now have $85 towards CFIA, 75 for Dampe, and 15 for Diluc. So, CFIA has pulled ahead by $10. So,
It's competitive.
if you want Dampe to re-overtake CFIA, donate towards that, or if you want to extend CFIA's lead, donate to that. Or if you want the Miracle Dilute name, then you have to donate a lot more. But
Hey, feel
Yeah.
free, chat.
and also we have met the Kingdom Hearts Final Mix Why Go the Distance reprise, so we will hear Wyatt sing more.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh,
Really nice to
just
dragons.
time.
Yeah, that was not bad. The blue dragon went really well. The red dragon was a bit shaky. There's actually a trick that you can do where, well, you can't really, well, you can kind of do it. It's kind of up to the mercy of the game. But the dragons can actually enter a looping cycle where they just spin in a circle. And when they do that, you're able to spin with them and just consistently shoot them over and over. I had it kind of set up with the blue dragon, which was nice, but there was no dice for the red one.
Yeah, it's definitely not the easiest boss to prepare for. You can only hope for good cycles and leave it at that. Now,
There we go.
that is one of the toughest of wall glides. I've never hit that. So just take my word for it. Good job.
Thank you. Alright, we're all good. Sparks is pointing us to Agent 9.
Yep. So, who's played Doom?
Oh, where are you? There you are.
It isn't quite as bloody, perhaps. Ah, right, so we have here an extremely overpowered upgrade for Agent 9. Essentially, now we have a railgun of our own. QE1M1.
So yeah, it's pretty forgiving. You can just kind of hold down fire if you wanted to. Of course, it's a lot nicer on the eyes to kind of shoot only when needed, but they give you plenty of ammo to take it the whole way.
It's really experience how overpowered you become. Yeah, it's very useful in spots where you get surrounded by ninjas, and it makes clearing these boxes much quicker as well. Just the short burst is all 3 hit points gone. This enemy at the end is tied with the egg cutscene, so if we don't defeat them, we can't pick up the egg here. There is another instance of that in the game. I'm trying to remember which one it is.
The Rhinoc and Cloud Spires, the big Rhinoc.
That's the one.
Oh
So
my!
he's been an... Ooh. Alright. Yeah, jumping with Agent 9 doesn't give you a lot of height, but it gives you just enough to get around these ninjas.
Oh, that's actually kind of whoa.
Yeah, he's got a pre-fire setup. He knows where you're coming from.
Oh, that hit
That's
me.
alright. We'll just slow it down. We've only got one more box in this room. There's even some fodder in the next room.
Oh,
Yeah, they all drop down. They don't want you going anywhere.
yeah.
Alright,
Okay.
no fodder for us. Typically in speedruns, unless you need the fodder for something, and there are some cool instances where fodder is useful, like planning for a life upgrade, we sometimes have to sacrifice fodder for speed if they're not in our direct line of fire. That's all the gems in the level. And it's gonna clip through.
There we go.
The door doesn't open for us, so we actually take a moment to reach handle. And that's all the cleanup done. Now,
Alright.
just the rest of Midnight Mountain
Yep.
and the
Final-
endgame.
Final stretch here. We don't really guidebook that much anymore, so just kind of power through the rest of it here. Whoops.
If you remember the beginning of the run, the way we would use guidebooking there to move around the hub world, that's what we're going to end up using the guidebook for towards the very end. Just to save us about 10 seconds, or maybe even less. More swimming segments. But now you can see how OP the Sparks is. We barely need to go near the bottles.
So we have a $50 donation from Slickzilla12.
Wow.
Says
Everyone coming out
congrats
the
to Thar.
woodwork.
Yeah, congrats to Thar and the Velocity team to putting on another amazing marathon. I'm thrilled to make Swift sing as we sit through one of the truly iconic Kingdom Hearts scenes. So yeah, as the comment said, we have now hit the Kingdom Hearts 3 Swift Sings Let It Go during the cutscene incentive, so we have more singing. Let's go.
Thank you guys. That's beauty.
Can't wait. That's one of the toughest glides we can do. 30 FPS coming in clutch for us. And you'll notice that Ice or Crystal Bear cannot swim. F in the chat.
Plus, he tried his best. That's what counts in the end.
Yeah. Grabbing the head bush just before the fantastic Federico. Gives us time to collect all the gems before the vortex. And you got to take our word for it. That bridge actually costs money. Do you know that giant grey brick? That's 1,000 gems.
It is wallet breaker in any percent, but because Moneybags is retired and spooky, it's not a problem for us anymore.
Yep. And this is an interesting bottle. We actually swim through it because Sparks won't break that one. It's well, I think it has broken before, but it's quite hit or miss.
Yeah,
we don't rely on him.
You have to really get close to it, but it's a dead base, I guess. It's probably the only dead container in the game.
Time for my childhood dreams to be accomplished. We do the slide. Slide's so fun.
It's pretty sick, yeah. I think this might be... I'm probably going to sound a bit silly with this, but is Hub 4 the only hub where we actually slide on something like this?
Yeah, because the only other slide I can think of would be Haunted 2.
Oh, wait, maybe the Charmed Ridge Moneybags staircase, that might also...
Sliding down... Yeah, as more of a deterrence rather than...
That's true.
Yeah. It's not so much a whole mini game.
Right.
Also, you can slide off things in bamboo. Let's not forget.
Alright, I want to ask a request for the chat. If you are a InsertLogicT sub, I would love to see some Logic Eyes in the chat, so come up to my favorite section in the entire run. Moles.
Drum roll, please.
I love moles so much. I spent a lot of time labbing this area and actually routed it in for any percent, which was before my efforts, it was considered a joke to be said to route moles in, but I went ahead and did it, so hopefully I can show up here.
So we only want to hit the moles, we don't want to hit the wizards. And it's worth noting that the moles don't despawn after we hit them. Not immediately, anyway. Chat going mad with Logic Eyes. This is the magic one.
Oh, lads! Yo, I just got kind of robbed right there.
Yeah, that was rough. The wizards are playing against you. There it is.
There we go.
Bam.
So, besides the awful RNG there, you can actually line the moles up. As Surf said, when you hit the moles, they don't despawn immediately and the hitbox actually stays out. And you can actually hit them multiple times to oh, I'm on the left, it's freaking out, but you can actually chain them for 3 hits. Hold on.
I believe the fastest that's been done is like within the first 20 seconds.
Yep. I've done it in 15.
Yeah,
Which is insane.
It's certainly not necessary for a fast 117, but it is swag.
It is pretty cool to get, yeah. I did get pretty robbed in that one with the magicians running basically into me. Offset my position, but besides that I think it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, you didn't have to reset, and that's better than some of my runs.
That's true. I'm not right. Okay, no,
Anyway.
Yeah, dug myself in a little hole here.
It happens. Moles.
Moles.
Get it? Because digging. All right.
I was too busy like feeling pure sorrow for what I said.
This run is so long. Anyway, we're out of crystal. That was a really fun rooted level. Let's focus now.
The chemistry's falling apart. Oh no, even 117 destroys friendships.
Co-op 117 when?
Oh, the two people who put themselves on the line for that are gonna hate themselves and each other if that goes through.
I gotta feel like the person controlling Spyro is has it the worst because they actually have to move in range of all these gems.
Oh, true. Cool
Very
little
nice.
EOL setup here.
Yep.
Oh,
This is torch jump. It's sometimes finicky. We take our time.
yeah, it's a little difficult. There we go.
I
Whoops.
think there's at least 4 different setups for it.
Yeah, I made another personal setup with it. If you walk forwards into the corner, the terrain actually aligns you almost perfectly to jump and hover. It's been a while since I've done it though, so a little bit rusty on that.
Worth noting also, having played this level before, Logic knows all the answers to the riddles, so you don't really get time to think about them. But yeah, menuing is pretty crucial. Save those precious seconds, otherwise the dogs will chastise you for getting their riddles wrong.
Do they actually have a go at you if you take too long?
They're like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Quite British of them, really, to apologise for mistakes we make. One more chest.
The green sparks is a little concerning coming up to this later shootout.
Interestingly enough, Black is mentioning how KVM actually makes the menuing or the riddles a lot simpler, because you can mash left click to skip dialogue and it won't matter what you click afterwards. It kind of auto locks the right answer.
Oh, that is interesting. Yeah.
Unless
Oh
I've
my.
misunderstood that, but I'd like to know more about that. Speedrunning is all about learning. You're always going to find something new. Not always useful, but new. Just the big
Oh, that might be a
guys.
little high. Oh, there we go.
That's right. Nice to see the bomb tech getting some use. Oh, I see. Right, so it's not so much that it selects the right answer, but it doesn't accidentally select the wrong answer, which is something that can happen quite easily. Right, so we're skipping most of the slide, but we do have to collect some gems off the end. Going very wide.
Okay.
Tokyo drifting. Looking scary. Alright, Sparks grabbing those gems at range so we don't have to worry about getting hit by rocks, which are quite unforgiving in this level. The slowest part of this is definitely having to recycle the bombs thrown by this man.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was said before I was here, but what is the best dragon egg name? Or
Right, now
name
that
it.
is a hotly contested debate.
Gotta be noodles. Gotta be nudes, I gotta say.
I understand. I do understand. Now, but there's an egg called Matt, so I just think it's a no-brainer.
Alright, Matt, we get it. Alright.
That sigh was perfect. I think Stooby's a really cool name. I don't really understand how they came up with that, other than it being close to a iconic doggo.
I'm actually a big fan of Yin Yang, which is the final leg of
Yeah.
the run, where it has the twins in one egg. I think it's a really cool concept, and the name's pretty cool as well.
Ooh, we're seeing some good suggestions from chat. We've got Luna on top of Yin Yang, and
Oh,
Noodles,
Luna,
Felonious.
Thelonious is a good
Ethel.
one. There's
Eflin
also
Dolores.
Shemp. There's
Yo, Shemp is a good reference.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Shemp is a boss in Spyro 1. You fight, and it's pretty cool. They have an egg after him. It would have been cool if he like cosmetically looked a little like Dr. Shemp, but kind of everything in the end.
That is true. Now, I didn't even get to talk about tanks,
Oh,
because
you're
you
right.
just destroyed it. Let's just say that game can take a little while, and you can take a few hits, or you can strafe from side to side and take out all the enemies at range. So that's a good job, well done.
A lot of the Spyro boys love a go at me for that because it's actually more optimal to use keyboard and mouse, but I never learn it. So
There's still a future world record in you yet.
yeah.
Yeah, as it feels, keyboard and mouse hasn't been fully explored at this time. We don't have too many runners doing it, and the ones that do are constantly finding ways to optimize things for their control scheme. So perhaps we'll live in an age where the PC version of Spyro Reignited relies on KVM. to
Oh
be
yeah.
a world record pace runner.
I
These are
know.
the rocks.
I know for Spyro 1, KBM is pretty much essential for a top time. Not essential, but it'll make life a lot easier for you. So it'll be interesting to have one day the same thing for Spyro 3. You have to load this enemy in on camera for him to throw. So I'm having to pivot the camera.
That's interesting. I never really considered how much camera work needs to go into optimizing these enemies. Might be a few gems and... Oh, nice. I was kind of sleeping at the wheel, Sparks, picking up my slack. Yeah, slack, I think that is literally what I meant. Very good. Like our resident KBM expert.
Oh yeah. Oh, nice lag. Worldwide lag there for Haunted Tomb. I think it's the only level in the game that actually lags across the majority of computers and versions of the game.
I'm wondering if it's really Haunted Tomb or if it's midnight loading in two separate zones.
Maybe. I don't know the boundary of the load zone, so I couldn't say.
Yeah, it's not something that we really research as runners. But there's definitely potential in Midnight Mountain that is untapped, because to this day we are still searching for an elusive sorcerer's skip.
Oh yeah.
Which doesn't literally skip her, but would allow us to access the fight much earlier, making the any percent category much simpler. OG does have a sorcerer's skip, but the game is coded in a very different way, and it's not quite as easy to clip into things. But there are, of course, numerous locations where you can. Dynamines now, these enemies are pretty unforgiving. If you leave them on screen too long, they'll wind up and snipe you down.
Yep. There's also this cactus gimmick. Every cactus holds a gem. Casually, you might actually miss it until you finish it. Whoa, okay.
Yeah, definitely my least favorite enemies in the game here, underwater. You have to charge through them, and they are shooting directly at you as you go, so you can't just charge in a straight line, you have to curve yourself up and around or wait out their cycle. I think they have 3 shots.
Yeah, 3 shots.
But yeah, being on green Sparks here is a little shaky. There is fodder to come still. But you definitely don't want to be on 0 Sparks underwater.
Yeah, 0 Sparks underwater is nightmare fuel, just because of how wide the turns are. It also should be noted that the gems that fall out of the cactuses are, the majority of the time, dead gems. So you have to be standing on them.
Some of the movement we do to grab them is to like jump into the cactus as it explodes. That way you can continue your momentum out of it. Well, I'll be
jumping.
Love to see it. So we have another Agent 9 section here. I think this is the last one.
Yes.
We only have Harbour left.
Yeah, Harbour and then Spear.
Big focus time. Unlike this game, which is pretty much the enemies run to the same spots every time. It's just a matter of trying to shoot them as fast as possible.
Yeah. If there's any donations to read out, now's a pretty good time as well.
Okay, just gonna say once again, we are raising money for RAD. RAD is Rise Above the Disorder. RAD is a nonprofit dedicated to removing the 2 greatest barriers to mental health care, access and affordability. To accomplish their mission, they're going to provide a universal mental health care system to people around the world. So they say too many people are without mental health care. and they are changing that. So they've already helped over 35,000 people in 133 different countries. So we've so far raised $1,656.88 towards that amazing cause. After this run, we have the Pokemon Sword Run, and we have 2 naming incentives for that run. You can name the Sabo, which is CF Ayaya, is currently winning at $85, Dampe at $75, and Iluk is in the back at $15. And then you can also name the Kubfu. Currently, Dimmadome is sitting at $15, so if you want to change either of those names, be sure to donate for those incentives.
It would break my heart to see that Dimmadome isn't the name. It would absolutely devastate me.
Oh no. Can't have everything, Logic.
I know. I hope it's Dimmadome. Whoever the generous people are wanting.
Perhaps Spyro needs to heed that advice. He's going around collecting 20k gems.
Oh yeah, Spyro could donate for Dimmadome, but
Do you take gems, Joker?
do you take currency in gems?
Unfortunately, not.
That's a real letdown. Definitely missing a trick there.
I know. 20k in gems might translate to a couple dollars, so
Dollarinos.
missing the chance to grease some pockets, I think.
Moneybags knows.
Oh,
He's better than anyone. Well, we are finally finishing the Agent 9 segment with a sneaky 1 gem hidden by the grass. Prior knowledge makes such a difference in a collectathon.
Yep. Cool little wall glide here. There we go.
Very nice. Using a bit of the brickwork to push Spyro up before that wall glide. Just enough height to then hover.
I was thinking, when I was practicing earlier today, if you were to cut corners, would that help for the wind tunnels? I assume
Like
it would.
holding the interior of each.
Yeah.
In a way, yes, I believe so. But there are some
Normally-
risks of that.
Yeah. Normally I would take a wide player save, but then I thought about the potential.
Yeah. Like any race course, going for the inside line is the shortest distance, and therefore, although race cars have to worry about acceleration and braking and all that, when you're at a constant speed, like Spyro. Oh, also, yes, that's a very nice quick game. When you're at constant speed, all you can really do is try and reduce that distance. So yeah, maybe we can cut a few more seconds off these kind of auto-scroll tunnels.
Hopefully.
Preemptive flame on the cactus.
Alright.
700 out of 700.
Okay.
Technically, I think we can guidebook to Bugbot here.
I
But I
actually,
don't know if that's faster or not.
on a whim, I assumed it was faster, but the load takes so much off of your load list that it's better
Yeah.
to just run. And also it can be a little optimal too, because you can just break the head bash chest and then go into dynamite, or dynamites. And then when you come out, you'll pick up the gems as well.
Nice. Well, that's it. We always have new ideas on the table, and it's only through extensive practice that we realize what the best strategies are. This is the best speedway.
Oh, yeah, the best music in the game too. You can challenge me on that. You will lose, but it's alright. I love Harbour Speedway music. Oh, I don't love it anymore.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my
You're
God.
right. You're right. Yeah, there are some strategies to completing this level.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, I don't think our practice session went as far yesterday, so I'll let you off the hook. Yeah, this is definitely a lot of fun. Oh, I'm going to quickly check the time on how much we've got left,
Oh yeah.
because I believe if it's about 6 to 7 minutes on SBR at most, and perhaps if the race is 2, maybe up to 8 minutes here, 8 or 9. We should be finishing at about maybe 3:12 RTA.
Oh, 3-top RTA would be pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, it's about on pace with the D-Rust we've been expecting. Oh, is that the last bird?
Yeah, it was. We're all good. Obviously not the prettiest because I bombed.
It's alright. You can see how punishing speedways can be when you rely on cycles. The fastest this speedway can be is like in the high 40s. And we lost about 15 seconds.
Yeah, I think so. I know Cam and I have different routes. I believe, I don't know what the IR record is for this, but I have an...
3.9?
Ooh, it's pretty good. I have an animation skip route that is on average a low 45, and I believe Cam has also a route that's also a low 45. Maybe a super high 44, but I haven't watched him grind out ILs of this, so I don't know. Well, I think I did, but that was a month and a bit ago when I was first learning the category. So it's been a while.
It's always worth remembering that something being the fastest doesn't make it the most reliable. And this is why we find our own ways.
Yeah, it's good to have a variety, like a pool of strats to choose from. Just to let people be comfortable with certain strats if they're struggling with others.
Alrighty. So that hunter minigame is very slow to deal with, and our main concern is not missing a ring. It's just like a race. Oh, what do you know?
Well,
We still have to do this one. I personally really like this race because there's a lot of cool things you can do with the blue stars.
oh yeah.
We're going to chain, I think, 4 of them here. Well, 3 of them instantly. Yeah, 4.
Oh, a little shaky there.
Yeah, you get a lot of horizontal movement out of multiple stars for what. Actually, any star gives you a lot of horizontal movement.
Yeah, I think I was talking to someone about this. I think the reason why it happens is because you have a neutral position when you hit the star, and around the time you hit the star is when you adjust to a different movement. It kind of it's like overly sensitive to that direction, or to like the horizontal or vertical directions. I don't know why I did that.
It's fine. It's worth noting that if you could find a way to maintain a supercharge, you would be saving time over the flying. But of course, when the platforms are only so long, though it may be optimal to try and maximize supercharge, it's not necessary. We're talking about like a second or 2 difference overall.
Yeah.
It's missing the blue stars that hurt because they're not as frequent. So far, so good.
Yeah,
Little charge down.
Pretty close, yeah. Jesus! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Would we like to talk about what that was?
Oh my heart! Jeez. I thought my world was ended for a second.
You missed a ring, it's over. What was that? Do we know?
I think it was the alarm, or a alarm. If that was my alarm, it would get me out of bed for sure.
Yes.
Oh my.
Sorry.
Not to worry.
That was something I forgot about.
No problem there. Oh.
If I was told about that, I forgot about it too. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well then, we are nearly there.
I didn't think a speedway could be so stressful. Oh my god. Okay.
Yes. So what we find now is there's only one split left, but we just had a coffee injection. I'm ready to take it on with you. Are you ready?
Oh yeah. I'm ready to. Probably the best split in the run to a lot of people. Definitely the most enjoyable to do. Probably also the most like, I don't know what the word is. You have to be smart to have a good SBR. It's really cool.
Humble brag. I like it.
Oh no, I mean no. Okay,
teasing.
listen, I can't be putting me like this. No, but I think SBR, there's a lot of cycles to hit in SBR, and a lot of people have come together to put some really spicy cycles into the mix. that make it
Alrighty.
really, really cool to watch if everything goes well.
Now we start off with something you won't see a lot of, but it's another Bianca skip.
Oh yeah.
And we copy around to the right-hand side. We're going to grab this thief followed by the head bash. Lots of gems. I don't know how loud the game sound is, but it is pretty much just gem collecting sounds right now. This is a really cool way to get to the flying fireball power-up early. And you can see how Logic is timing it.
Yeah, this would be the last power-up you would get. There's a lot of doors with gem counts linked to them, and that is the last door, but with that skip we're able to pass by.
Yep. Lining up with the lower UFO. And take down the higher UFO as well. And just in time for the fifth one to come out of the woodwork. And now we can mess with the thieves. This is a lot of gems. Head bash, thief, final UFO.
Oh.
That thief didn't end up running. And I barely saw him for all the gold numbers. Nicely done. Now we are just collecting. And we have a mini game. The first of two. Subs returns in all its glory.
Yeah. This is also an extremely close cycle dependent area. Hopefully it all goes well.
We're opting not to take shots early. Gonna wait for all of them to turn around. 2 down, 2 more turn. 3 and 4, now up to 5. Very nice snipe there. Last guy's a little bit annoying, but that was a good no-scope as well.
That's
Really
pretty
good
good.
subs.
You'd love to see those, honestly.
Yep, and now this race casually is one of the worst experience. There's so much that can happen jank-wise. Not to mention the AI is pretty ruthless. They move quickly and they have their own boosts. And we have the challenge of grabbing all gems en route as well. So what we will do is we will try and take slightly different lines. That is one of those moments. Just getting caught.
Oh, okay.
Unlucky. That doesn't matter too much. We get your boost still.
Oh, that put me really far ahead.
I hope we didn't miss too many gems with that. But
Hope not.
yeah, turning is pretty difficult. Unlike in Lost Fleet, there are fewer walls that will keep us on track. Ah, yes, Clock makes a very good point. This race on a world record pace takes 37 seconds, according to the IL stats.
Yep, the IL strat for this skateboard is actually the most insane thing I've ever seen in a game. It is absurd, and I love it.
We will leave that to the curious viewers to find out. What you're looking for is the console leaderboard and time trial leaderboard, and then super bonus round in the level leaderboards, held by FuroRem. Shoutouts. And now we're going for a lower route because we have a few gems down here and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to try and access the high ground. Anakin.
Okay, oh, sound.
I love to see it, yep. Not a problem. All these nasty Norks. Nice red gem.
Okay. Just hang right and then we'll feel good. I
Just
haven't
a
missed
green,
anything. Green or red, I think. Oh no, just the green. My PB for this is shouts to green. My PB for this is a 159, but I actually recently golded the split in a practice run, getting a 206. And my UFOs were kind of spicy, so I'll be honest with you. Like, if I had my splits going, I would say this is in contention of gold as well.
Yeah, this is a really good final split. And the main thing is not having to redo these mini games because they take minutes. Now then, all being well, these are the last few gems. Wonderful.
Hopefully I don't have another memory leak going on the UFO. I'm actually going to take my time.
Don't jinx.
Don't
It's
do
all
it.
good.
There we go, alright. So in a practice run, I actually had a memory leak because the game bugged out a little bit and caused a memory leak, and I had to reset my entire PC. I had a lot of troubles. But we're all good now.
Coming up on time.
Oh yeah, time soon.
2 more hits. 1 more hit.
Time.
GG.
Time. Good stuff. Yin yang.
Best egg.
Nice.
Supposedly.
Right. Supposedly.
Whoa.
About to get started in here. Oh.
Nicely done, Logic. GG's.
Thank you. GG's.
GG's. I was just making sure that you were still awake during that whole speedway section with that alarm. Sorry about that.
I reckon I would have golded that in my real split, so the alarm was the play, I think, that got me going.
New tech found.
But that's pretty good, honestly. I'm pretty happy with that. It was a good run.
226. Allow me to quickly have a gander and see what that might be in loadless. Just for the sake of it.
I'm very curious. I think my PB might get...
Ooh. Yeah, man. Like, you're within a minute of the PB loadless.
I'm within a minute of my PB?
Maybe a couple minutes. Because the 225 is the loadless.
Oh, 225 is loadless. Oh.
Oh, sorry, in-game. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
225 is the in-game. And so if we equate that to maybe like a minute or 2.
Oh, dang. That's fair enough then. Not a bad
Nice
run,
D-rust.
I'd say. That's
Nice
pretty
D-rust.
good. That's pretty good.
Alrighty. That's going to do it for us, I believe.
Yeah.
Congrats, Logic. That was a great run.
Thank you.
Do either of you have parting words?
I think just big shout-outs to the Spryo Reignited community. The game itself, 3 games in 1, good price. Amazing speedruns, honestly. I'll be honest, Reignited is a gold mine for speedrun potential, and the community backing it, some of the best people I know to this day. So big ups to the Spryo Reignited boys for helping me out when I was a new guy, for everything.
Yeah, I second that. Absolutely. And shout-outs to the team here at Team Velocity for all the work you've been doing. And thank you to everyone who's been donating as well. Very generous of you. Good cause.
Thank you guys for everything.
Well, thank you too. Before we head to the intermission, I just want to let people know the update, the Pokemon Sword naming incentive. The Saba will be a few minutes into the run, so currently CF Ayaya is winning at 85, and Dampe is right behind it at 75. So if you want to see Dampe, you better vote. You should donate in the next few minutes here. So yeah, and then if you want Diluc, you're gonna have to donate a lot more to see Diluc overtake them. So
I would like to quickly interrupt. I apologize, but that is RTA world record.
That's RTA record?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, everyone, let's get some hype emotes in the chat. RTA world record.
Maybe not an official timing method as it's going via the Team Velocity timer, but a Freo 724 is substantially quicker than a Freo 906. Well done, man.
Wow. Jeez, thank you. Wow. Alright, cool. That's sick.
Alright, you are done with this category now, right? You're finished?
Yeah, I'm done. But, Joker, thank you. To Joker as well and the whole Velocity team, like Sir said, for putting on this marathon. Amazing cause. Really fun so far. It's been so much fun watching. And hopefully this run put on a good show. Hopefully Surf and I did a good job with everything. So thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.